Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. We are back after the international break, and it always feels good to be back. It also takes a bit of time to get back into the sort of FPL mindset. Let me know if you agree with that. Maybe you've just been thinking about FPL the entire time. Fair play if you have. I have not, which means that it does take a little bit of time to get back into it. Saw your tweet regarding Newcastle's 11, currently on free hit with Barnes, Voltemade and Pope. Also saw that Barnes had a baby yesterday. Yeah, so I was sent that obviously before then. Maybe this person got the team before that, so maybe you could have just go for Alanga instead, or Kudus. Maybe Alanga's the slightly safer one. But yeah, I don't know how accurate that team was that I was sent, I'll be honest. The guy has been... So the guy sent me the correct team on 3 different occasions, twice last season, once this season. It was after the deadline, hence why I didn't share it, because he sent it afterwards. He sent it with the timestamp showing that he received it earlier in the day. So I think the guy is quite accurate, and he did just say to me, he said, I'm just a massive FPL fan that just wanted to pass on the news. Like, he's not getting anything from it. It's not like he's getting a shout out in return. So I don't see any reason why he'd lie, but you just never know, do you? Are you having a curry tonight, Ross? I had a curry last night, actually. Normally on a Friday, a curry. Sometimes on a Saturday, but normally on a Friday. Ross, much love, mate. Would you go Gyökeres or Pedro? Thanks, Raptor. Oof, I think... For the price, Pedro probably is better value. If it's on a free hit, I would just go Gyökeres, I think, this week, because I think his minutes will be better. If it's NUFC Will, he's a massive whopper. No, it's not Will. It's just a random guy. Like, he doesn't have a proper Twitter account. It's just a random guy that said, here's the info. But again, he's messaged me on quite a few occasions and he's always been right. But you just never know with these things, right? Not only could he be wrong, but also it could be a last-minute change. What if someone wakes up this morning and doesn't feel well? Or Hal wakes up this morning and decides to make a tactical switch? Right. Lots of questions about Daniel Munoz. Hi, Ross. Would I bench who should I bench? Reinders, Wood, or Johnson? I wouldn't bench Reinders. I think it's a great game for him. Johnson's a tough one because there's a chance he doesn't start. I think you bench one of Wood or Johnson. I would still bench Chris Wood because I just think Arsenal are fantastic. Right, here we go. Here's my team. I made the move last night because on every price prediction site, it looked like Juve was going to fall in price, or at least there was a big risk, and I didn't want to avoid losing an extra bit of money, and Juve didn't fall in price. But I think I still would have made the move today. So yeah, I made the move to sell Juve to Munoz. I think my team looks fantastic this week. I don't have João Pedro and I don't have Gyökeres. Don't have an Arsenal defender. So there are certainly some things I'm missing. But yeah, Sanchez, Munoz, Pedro, Porro, Richards, Kudus, Salah, Wirtz, Fernandes, Reinders, and then Watkins and Mateta as the front two. I think it looks really, really nice. And I've even moved Mark Guiu to first sub because I do think there's a chance he gets at least like 20, 25 minutes in this game. So that should be good. What is my chip strategy? I think at the moment I'm still on free hit 6. But actually, maybe we'll have a look at my team in a second on Fantasy Football Hub. I'll show you that actually my team doesn't look that bad for Game Week 6. And there is a chance that I just use transfers to pivot from Salah to Haaland in 6 and actually save the free hit. I've also considered, by the way, potentially just wildcarding in Game Week 6 instead. If my team doesn't do well over the next couple, I might just completely bin everything off and just, yeah, go for that. Ross, why have you sold Dorgu? Don't start. Right, let me move. That deadline's wrong, isn't it? I've just realised. Oh, that's annoying. How do I change that? I've just realised that deadline counter is wrong. Can I change the time? Let me see if I can change this. One sec, guys. So it would be... It's the 13th of September at 11. I don't know if this is going to change live. Sorry, guys, 1 second. I'm just going to change that deadline counter because it's going to confuse. I've just seen it says 2.5 hours, and obviously it definitely isn't. It's not going to work, is it? What to do? Should I remove the deadline count? I'm going to have to remove it, I think, aren't I? That looks really ugly, though. Oh, Harry has the same counter wrong. Yeah, we used the same guy to create our streams. I don't know if that's like an API issue. I'm going to just bin it off for now. Sorry that looks a bit ugly, but I just... Oh, God, that looks really ugly, doesn't it? Let me see if I can access it. Sorry, guys. At least we've got a bit of time to the deadline. I will answer your questions very, very soon. Right, what was I doing? Sorry, going to hear me typing in the background. Right, Phil. I'm just going to try and get that deadline counter. If I can't do it quickly, I will just bin it off. The thing is, like, it's far beyond my ability to know what I'm doing with this stuff. Left top deadline counter. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't think I'm going to be able to sort this. Settings? No. Oh, goodness gracious. Do you know what? We bin it off. We bin it off. It just looks ugly. It is what it is. Right, let me get back to it. We'll have to just use the old classic. We have to use the old classic just looking at the time. You've got just under 2 hours until the deadline. Dashmate says it's 3 a.m. I've moved from Manny to Texas. Insane. I hope you're enjoying Texas. Where are you in Texas, Dashmate? I'm going to start calling these deadly streams. Okay, you're on your free hit. Leno, Gay, Van Dijk, Livramento, Senesi, Salah, Gakpo, Grealish, Mateta, Gyökeres, Isak. I wouldn't go Isak. Yeah, I wouldn't go Isak. I'd maybe try and get... I'd potentially even look at... Can you get Isak to Haaland somehow and free up a bit of money? I don't know how you would do that. But yeah, on a free hit, I absolutely wouldn't be picking Isak. I just don't see him starting. And you might think that he could get like goals in 20 minutes, but I'd rather than just go for Ekitike. Ross, why have you sold Dorgu? Get in the bin. Hi, Ross, how are you? I'm good, thank you, Wayne. I'm a United fan and feel like something's round the corner. Maybe. Replacing Esteve with Lacroix instead of Dorgu and starting him. So I assume you're not starting Dorgu. I assume you're starting Lacroix, is that what you're saying? If you're starting Dorgu, best of luck, but I can't see you getting much from that game. I do agree, though. I don't think it's been as bad as maybe it feels for other people looking in. Like, there have been some times, and in fact, that game week 1 game against Arsenal, I was really impressed with Man United. So it does feel like we might start to move in the right direction, absolutely. Shazam, as you know, I'm doing a -4 this week. Yes, I do. And thank you for the wonderful generosity, by the way. Sarr for Semenyo is locked in. That feels good to me. But then Bowen to either Mateta or João Pedro. Which one? Still no idea. On free hit, wildcard. No, I assume you mean free hit 6 there, Shazam? Have you added a comment? No, you've not. I assume you mean free hit 6, wildcard 13. I would probably go and get João Pedro. I think Bowen to João Pedro is probably the move. I know I kind of spoke about João Pedro being a bit of a doubt in yesterday's video. I still expect him to start and get like 60 plus minutes. And obviously you're not buying João Pedro for 1 week. You're buying him for the long term. Especially if you're looking to wildcard in 13. You'll own João Pedro for like 8 or 9 game weeks. So I think at this stage, João Pedro is just the best forward, probably looking at value in the entire game. As sad as that is to say, because I don't own him. Is Voltemade a good punt on free hits? Yeah, you could go there. I have no issue with that. Looks like he should start. What do you think of Yeremy Pino? I'll be honest, I haven't watched enough of him to give an opinion on his footballing ability, but he's a fun punt on a free hit. Would I use a transfer for him? I think I would want to see a little bit more, personally. Sumac says, hi Ross, game week 4 wildcard. Okay. Raya, Dubravka, Munoz, Henderson, Senesi, Agbadu, Esteve, Salah, Semenyo, Kudus, Reinders, Haaland, João Pedro. So it's a Salah Haaland one. The defence is a little weak, but you've got some nice picks in there. Bench boost 5, no free hit 6, and decide in game 7 who I want long term between Salah and Haaland. I actually really like that draft, Sumac. Yeah, you don't need to free hit in 6 because you've got Haaland. You also don't need to worry about having no Salah this week. The team looks strong overall. I struggle to see too much of an issue with that team. I mean, you are still bench boosting with double Burnley defence, but I mean, a lot of people will in Game Week 5. So yeah, I really like it. Enzo and Calafiori or Livramento and Eze? Is this on a free hit, Matt? Or transfers? I think probably... On a free hit, maybe Enzo and Calafiori. Transfers Livramento and Eze. I think longer term, I prefer that option. Lewis says, good midfield punts on a free hit. I think Alanga's a nice punt. I think Yeremy Pino, the new Crystal Palace attacker, I think is a nice punt. I still think Florian Wirtz and Gakpo are still fantastic. I don't know if you'd call them punts. Xavi Simons is a bit of a punt. Neto at Chelsea, or Enzo, going for one of the other Chelsea attackers, I think is a nice punt too. Play Van der Ven or Rodon? I would go Van der Ven, I think. Hi Ross, I'm on wildcard. Thoughts on Eze? I think it's a bit early. Like, the next 3 weeks aren't fantastic anyway. I'd probably prefer Gibbs White at that price if you're going to go there, or just go Semenyo or Xavi Simons. Or even Brian Mbeumo, I don't think it's a terrible one. But yeah, I do think it's just 3 weeks early. Let's see how Eze gets integrated. Let's see what his minutes are like. It's not like the fixtures are brilliant over the next 3 anyway. After the Forest game, it's 2 tricky games in a row. So yeah. I should just say, by the way, if you are here right now, I appreciate you so much. Could you just drop a like on the stream, please? I would really appreciate it. It just helps to spread the stream out at these early stages. What happens on the back end is YouTube is like, ooh, are people enjoying this stream? Do people want to watch the stream? If they do want to watch the stream, obviously it's in YouTube's interest to then push that out to more people. So basically, likes at the start of a stream really help. I have Cunha and 8 Nuri. Should I free hit? Depends what the rest of the team looks like. If that's your only 2 issues, no, just sell Cunha and 8 Nuri. If you also have a weak team elsewhere, then yeah, maybe go for it. Nshep says, who to sell Strand Larsen for? Mateta, Evanilson, Ekatike, Richarlison. I assume that means you've already got João Pedro. I think probably Evanilson or Mateta would be the 2 that I'd go for after that. I do like Evanilson. I'd probably go Mateta though, just about there. Ramoya says, hi Ross, -4 hit for Munoz and Semenyo, for Moreno and Sarr, or just play 4 defenders and no -4. Have wildcard, but want to keep it for game week 6. Bench is awful. Frimpong won't start, and have Guiu bad start this year. I mean, it sounds like you could probably just use your wildcard this week, Ramoya, but if you don't want to, I think that's a nice -4. Munoz and Semenyo are great picks. In fact, if you get the pair of them in, you might even be able to save the wildcard. And I think, obviously, Alex Moreno and Sarr are just non-options. So, yeah, I think Munoz and Semenyo for a -4 looks good to me. And thank you for the support. Ryan 8 Nuri to Van Dijk. Want Munoz but have Richards. Sarr to Semenyo -4. I think Van Dijk and Semenyo in for a -4 sounds nice. By the way, just because you've got Richards doesn't mean you can't get Munoz. That's the way I was looking at it. Like, I kind of agree with what you're saying. I was like, do I want a double up on the Crystal Palace defence? But then in isolation, I just really like Munoz. I was very tempted to buy Van Dijk. I was really tempted to buy Cucurella. I was really tempted to buy Gabriel as well. But I really love Munoz. He's just a player that I love owning in FPL. Dashmate says, I'm in Houston. Okay, big love. Have Isak for 4 pool players versus Burnley. Okay, I see what you mean. Okay. I still wouldn't have Isak. I say you've got Isak in ahead of time. I'd still wouldn't have Isak, even with that in mind. Because he's not going to start. So you're picking a player that can get 20 minutes when you could go for like a Mateta who will get 80 plus. You could go for a João Pedro who will get 65 plus. You could go for a Voltemade who should get 60 plus. Like, I just think there are better options personally. Or even, like I say, trying to squeeze Erling Haaland in. David C, thank you for becoming a Tier 1 member. I appreciate it. FPL Neutral says, would you get Gakpo over Semenyo this week? I could still bring in Semenyo in game week 6 as part of the Salah Haaland switch. Still think I prefer Semenyo, but yeah, I guess when you view it like that, over the next 2 weeks, Gakpo probably does get more points, you'd imagine, unless he obviously doesn't start in game week 5, which I think he will. So yeah, maybe you do go for Gakpo. We'll have to see how Europe affects things, by the way. Do remember that. So Europe will come into full swing. What if Gakpo plays significant minutes in Europe? You just know that Semenyo is going to start and get good minutes in every game. So I would still go Semenyo, but I kind of like the logic there, so I don't mind it. Anish says, transfer Sarr for a hit. Depends who you'd start instead, I guess. Already upgraded JSL to Gyökeres, okay. Have 0.5. Murillo, Esteve, Guiu on the bench. In that case, yes. I would probably sell Sarr. If you're free hitting in 6, I would rule out the Everton midfielders. I think it's... So you don't have enough money for Semenyo. I think it's probably Kudus or Xavi Simons. Maybe you go all the way down to like a Paquetá. I would probably go for Kudus or Xavi Simons. Would be the way I'd go there. Josh says, is it just me or are we really lacking info? I'm really struggling to commit to a path as it feels like so much is still up in the air. Good luck, mate. I agree completely, Josh. That's kind of the viewpoint that I have right now. It's kind of the viewpoint that I have right now, that I'm just struggling to try and work out how to approach the upcoming game weeks. Like, which players do I want to target? Which teams? Which chip strategy? So yeah, maybe the best play is to roll the transfer if you can and just assess. JD Mason says, stop leaving your dirty boxes on the landing. I don't even have a landing. I live in an apartment, so that's not mine, that's yours. Hi, what a weird super chat, by the way. Hi, Russ. On the wildcard, the wildcard I sent, I can do Munoz, Esteve, to Lacroix, and a 4.5 defender. Oh, I might prefer that. I think, in fact, if I wasn't such a Munoz fanboy, I probably would have just gone Lacroix, because I think Lacroix and Munoz are extremely close, actually. When you take into account DEFCON, and also Lacroix carries some serious goal threat, I think it's probably worth the saving with Lacroix. I'm such a big fan of Munoz. So yeah, I'd be very, very tempted to go for the alternative Sumac. Jacob says, I plan to roll until game week 6. Yeah, it's always the plan. Villa in Forest defence stinking up the gaff. Murillo, Palmer, Watkins to Lacroix, Reinders and Haaland. I can understand it. I do love Palmer and Watkins, though. Palmer, I think, will be back from 5. Watkins, I just think is still a good asset. If you're asking whether I would do it, no, I wouldn't do it, Jacob. But if you're saying that you've done it, then best of luck. And it's nice to have Haaland in as well. I think Haaland will go absolutely massive against Man United. So, Al, got 8 Nuri. Best replacements. Not free hitting in 6. Okay. Other 4 defenders are Kukurea, Porro, Milenkovic, and Esteve. Tempted by Goodmanson to free up some cash. I don't know if I'd go Goodmanson. If you're not free hitting in 6, who would I go for? Maybe Virgil. Maybe Big Verge. If you do want to free up some cash, I would go for probably Senesi. Senesi I would go for if you want to free up some cash. Otherwise, I think Big Verge sort of suits your strategy. Izzy Gaming says, my precious little org. Would you do Ekatike to Mateta? No. And who would you replace Sarr with? Sarr to Semenyo is the best option. Otherwise, I like the Spurs mids. Otherwise, I like Paquetá. I still think Morgan Rogers is good. I mean, you've got lots of viable options. But yeah, I would not do Ekatike to Mateta. In fact, I'd probably rather Ekatike than Mateta this week. I think it's very close. Also, Huel is fantastic. Thank you for helping me stay healthy. You're more than welcome. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. We need to try and stay healthy. I'm absolutely not healthy enough at the moment, sadly. I'd like to be healthier. Hey, Ross. Hello, Darcy. Prediction for the Manchester Derby. So I actually do... Why is my finger the wrong way? It's going to be cut. There, on the other side of the screen, you can see my predictions every week. I do that for the streams. So I'm predicting a closer game than people are suggesting, but I still can't see a world where City don't come out on top. But I don't think there'll be huge amounts in it. Maybe that's just copium as a Man United fan. Calafiori and Pope or Livramento and Raya? Livramento and Raya, absolutely. Thoughts on Madueke? If it's on a free hit, James, I like Madueke. I wouldn't buy him. Joshua says Guiu or Obi on wildcard. Guiu. But neither of them are starting. So neither of you think they're going to... I would not be relying on a 4.5 forward. I think Guiu will get better minutes. That Obi's just not getting regular minutes for Manchester United. Even with Mason Mount being out, I just can't see it. I mean, I suppose there's a chance, but I don't know. Best Newcastle defender on a free hit. I'd go Livramento for safety. Could go Dan Burn. Probably Livramento. The team that I was sent yesterday, if you're not following me over on X, by the way, feel free to do so. I'll quickly show you it because... So it's a difficult one. So let's say I get sent a team news or a team leak that I'm not super confident on. What do I do there? Because if I don't share it and it turns out to be correct, it's I could have helped people. But then if I get sent team news and I lost my train of thought there. So if I share it and it's wrong, then that's not great. But if I don't share it and it was correct, so it's a difficult one. I always try and share the team news that I get with the caveat that I am not promising that it's correct. But the team that I was sent last night by someone that's been correct in the past was Pope, Livramento, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Thiao, Burn Hall, Tonali, Bruno, Joelinton, Elanga, Voltemade, Barnes. So there was no Fabian share. Now, this could be wrong. It could just be straight up incorrect information. Or it could mean that they're saving Fabian Schär and Botman for the Barcelona game. Or it could mean that there's a late change. Or it could mean that Fabian Schär's injured. I don't know, but this was the team that I was sent. I'd go for Livramento. I think he's the safest. I mean, you could take a huge punt on Lewis Hall, but again, I can't confirm if this is the accurate team or not. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, it's a difficult position to be in when you're sent team news because it's like, do I share it? Obviously, if I knew for a fact that it was correct, I'd share it. But it's the ones where you're just not 100% sure. So maybe Lewis Hall's the fun punt if you want to risk it. Thoughts on Vicario over Sanchez and goal? Yeah, Vicario's been really decent. I don't hate it. Dorgu for Lacroix or Milenkovic for Munoz? I'd probably go Dorgu to Lacroix. Probably. I have Sar, Mario, and Nico, Esteve, and Guiu. Okay, with 3 million in the bank, what should I do? You got Sar, Mario, Nico, Esteve, and Guiu. I would sell Sar and Mario with 2 free transfers to Semenyo and Lacroix or something like that. I'd sell Sar and Mario. I think Esteve's fine on the bench boost. Guiu, you might eventually... Oh, no, you got 3 million in the bank. You need to sell Guiu. I think you need to sell Guiu then if you're on a bench boost next week. Maybe you could do that next week, though. Maybe Sar to Semenyo. Trying to work out the money here. Maybe you don't go Semenyo. Maybe you go like Paquetá. Maybe Sar to Paquetá, Mario to Lacroix, and then that should give you the money to get Guiu up to like a João Pedro or something comfortably, or a Mateta. I think you need to work it out, but I think Sar and Mario sold this week and give yourself enough money in the bank to go and sell Guiu next week is probably the way that I would do it. Michael says, Raptor, hello from Australia. What head shaver do you use? I think it's Remington or something like that. It's one of the ones where you hold it and you yourself. You know, like the ones where you hold it as like a ball and it's got the little things on it. That was a terrible description. Hi, big love to Australia, by the way. Hi, Russ. I'm rolling 2 transfers with Vicario, Rodon, Van de Ven, Richards, Salah, Semenyo, Kudus, Grealish, Haaland, Pedro, and King. Okay. Who do I bring in game week 7? Who do I bring in game week 7? That's too far in the distance to stress about right now. I mean, I don't want to not answer your question, but it's like, great team, fantastic team. Just focus on the next few weeks ahead. But yeah, I do think with a team like that, you shouldn't need to make transfers anytime soon. Blue Akaz says, thanks for all the great content, you fantastic egg. Where is Dorgu? Can we not start this again? Thank you for the love. I appreciate the 11 months. We're not starting this again. Start Xavi Simmons or Harvey Elliott? Xavi Simmons. Is João Pedro fit? Yes, João Pedro is fit. Is he jet lagged? Yes. Is he going to be a bit more fatigued? Yes. He still will score goals, though, I'm sure. Sorry, guys, just take a drink. I'll tell you what, my team looks far too good for this week. It's stressful. I never like when my team looks good. I don't think I've ever got a good green arrow when my team actually looks good on paper. It always comes in weeks where your team looks terrible that you get the green arrow. What question shall I ask this week in the poll? I don't know if captaincy's worth it. I guess it is, like Salah versus Haaland. Yeah, let's do captaincy. Who are you captaining this week? Any news on a Palmer start? I've not heard anything, no, and they don't play until 8 p.m, so I doubt we get it. I doubt we get anything super useful. So Salah, Haaland. Who are people captaining other than Salah and Haaland? Would it be Gyökeres or Mateta? If you're not captaining Salah or Haaland, let me know in the chat who you are captaining. I just want to put the third most popular option on. Ekatike. Gyökeres, Gakpo. Mateta, Gakpo, Ekatike. Ekatike looks a bit popular. Mateta. João Pedro. Interesting. Gakpo. There's not really a... In fact, I'm just going to do that then. There's not really a popular third option. Who are you captaining this week? Salah, Haaland, or other? There you go. There's a poll to vote on in the chat. I didn't know if there would be a favourite third option, but it looks like it's pretty split. On a free hit, Ekatike and King or Pedro and Reinders? If I was on a free hit, I'd probably have fun with Ekatike and King. I think Pedro and Reinders is probably like on paper a slightly better combo, but yeah, I'd probably have fun with the free hit. I think Ekatike and King look good. Fulkrug and Fernandes to Haaland and who? Budget is 5.9. Paquetá is 5.9. Yeah, Fernandes to Haaland and sorry, Fulkrug to Haaland and Fernandes to Paquetá. Sounds nice. You are then switching one West Ham asset for a better West Ham asset as such, I guess. Sumac says, did Munoz and Esteve to Lacroix and Van der Ven? You're on a wild card of free hit, aren't you, Sumac? I've just forgotten. I'm like, I hope you didn't sell. Yeah, you're on a wild card. Okay, so you didn't sell Munoz. You just switched them. I do think that is slightly stronger. Remind me who they have next week. They have Brighton away. Yeah. Plan game week 7 is Salah, Thiago to Saka, Isak. Okay. Or Haaland, Thiago to Isak, Gyökeres. Okay, yeah, I like it. Yeah, no, it's good to... The thing is, like, as you say, it probably won't work out like that, but it's nice to have a rough plan. It's finding that balance, because I always tell people not to book transfers in. And what I mean by that is you shouldn't set your team up in a way where you have to make the transfers that you plan. But it's always nice to have a rough plan of action. Like in this week, I'd like to make these transfers. Thoughts on Yeremy Pino on wildcard? 0.1 ownership. I actually don't hate it. I think Glasner said in the press conference that Yeremy Pino is likely to start. So, yeah, could be fun. On a free hit, I like it a lot. On a wildcard, I still don't hate it. In a proper rut with FPL already. I don't blame you. That's fair enough with the start that Lovers Fab. Yeah, 7 million in the world. Just have fun with it would be my advice. I mean, it's a great looking team. Like, look at that team. Like, surely it does turn around for you. I think the only thing that's a bit weak there is your defense doesn't look great. So if you're looking to make a transfer, I don't know if you're asking for advice, but Poro, Milenkovic, Dorgu, due for Stev, you've really only got one defender that you'd like to start this week. So maybe looking to make a defender transfer could work. But yeah, that midfield, Salaverts, Sarr, Fernandes, Dewsbury Hall, like Watkins, Richards, it's a nice team. Best of luck, mate. I hope you have a green arrow and you start to get back into the rhythm with it. Frederick says, congrats on your PhD. I don't have the PhD yet. I'm still doing it, but thank you very much. Thoughts on Xavi? Starting Van der Ven and Senesi. Sorry, so I'll start the first question. Thoughts on Xavi? I really like Xavi Simons. I think Xavi Simons is going to be really nice value. I don't expect him to like break the game and be like 60% ownership at any stage, but I can see him becoming a really nice option. So yeah, if you wanted to go early, I like him. Start Van der Ven and Senesi. One of them versus King/KDH. So start one of Van der Ven or Senesi. I'd start Senesi. And then King or Dewsbury Hall, I'd have to start King this week. And then, yeah, Munoz and Virgil in defence. Looks nice. If you're asking to start one of them, I assume you're starting both Munoz and Virgil. Jim says, hi, Ross. Cunha and Ola Aina injured. So I took Aina out for Senesi. Love it. Finished 30k last year, but haven't beaten the average this year. I don't know if I have, mate, either. Like, it's been a weird start to the season. No disrespect if anyone has done well, but when you look at a lot of the mini leagues, the people that are at the top are the ones that traditionally aren't at the top. It just has been one of those where the players that a lot of us expected to do well haven't. And then obviously there have been some big swings with players. Like, it's come down to like the week before, it was if you had João Pedro, you had a green arrow. If you didn't, it was a red arrow. Like, there weren't very many players that did well outside of that big 15-pointer. So it's just been one of those sort of starts to the season, I think. Like, I'm 5.5 million, but I am not stressed at all. Family Feud update. Good to see you, Thor. We both dodged points in game week 3, but she reduced the deficit to 20 points. Okay. Big up your wife. Does your wife actually listen to the streams, Thor, or is she just playing FPL? Does she like, oh, I'm not that Raptor guy again? I can't remember whether you said, but yeah. Big love. I hope it's at least a close battle for you this year. That's all you can really ask for, isn't it? My mother now mocks me for taking early hits. That's funny. I don't even know if that's real or not. If it's real, it's funny. If it's not, it's still funny. Chelsea Man is Chelsea Man. Yeah, Chelsea Man says 1 free transfer with Sarr, Palmer, and Strand Larsen. Okay, don't want to wildcard this early. If I had those 3 players, I'd be tempted, but that's fine. Thoughts on Sarr to Semenyo and Strand Larsen to Mateta for a -4. P.S. I hope I win the football shirt. It's probably a good segue in a second. Thoughts on Sarr to Semenyo and Strand Larsen to Mateta for a -4. I struggle to say no to that. Yeah, I would just do that -4. I'll do that -4. You actually make a good point then. So, I am giving away a football shirt on this stream. Not on this stream. I'll do the draw after the stream. But, wait, what am I doing? Connect? Does that work? But you can enter now on the stream. Might as well do it now before the deadline. So all you have to do to enter the giveaway to win a football shirt, and some of you might have already done this, by the way, is all you need to do is download Club and join my league. That's it. That's all you have to do. So there is a link down below to download Club. I'll put my league code on the screen now, and I'll copy it into the chat. It is 3462SK7. Is that going to work? Yeah, perfect. That is the league code to join my club league. If you have joined club and you're in my league, you will be in for the chance to win a Premier League jersey of choice. So at the moment, there's only 2,000 people in the league. So you have a decent chance of winning the shirt. So I'll do if you're already in my league, you've already entered. That's it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose a number from random, randomize it, and one person in the league will win the shirt. And I'll announce that later today. And yeah, all you need to do to enter is just download Club and join my league. So what it is if you've not seen my streams before and my content, it is just a free-to-play fantasy football game. That's it. Right? It's got a little bit of club ownership in there as well. There is some fun stuff. As I always say, I'm in the game. There's me as a character. You've also got FPL Pickle in the game as well, just there. So it's nice. Like it's really easy to play. And by the way, I know a lot of people say, like, are asking about, like, we're already in game week 4. It's weekly head-to-head fantasy football. So it's not across the season. It's just weekly. So what we do is we meet with the agent and we guess who we're going to get. So let me know in the chat, who do you think I'm going to get in club? This can be any player in the Premier League. Any player in the Premier League. Who do you think I'm going to get here? I'm going to say... Ross, Will has said your post is wrong. I'll check it in a second. Fabian Share, that'd be a funny one. I'm going to say Agbadu is my guess. Could be any player in the Premier League. Statch, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind a decent midfielder. My midfielder's looking a little bit weak in club, I think, overall. All right, we're going to do it. Make sure you get your guesses in. Tap to reveal. Base. Core. Don't be a core. Rare. Good. Just keep going. Elite. Rare midfielder. I said I don't mind a midfielder. Nottingham Forest. Gibbs White. Did anyone guess Gibbs White? Didn't see a Gibbs White guess. Maybe. Don't think so. Gibbs White's not bad. Not this week, though, ideally. Oh, I already have Gibbs White. How did I forget I have Gibbs White? Okay, it's extended his contract at least. Anyway, like I said, download club, join my league. You'll be in for the chance for winning a football shirt. Right, I've been told that Will has called me out. That's fine. We respect it. NUFC Will. Says that's wrong. So I assume... So there's two possibilities here. Well, three possibilities. Possibility 1 is that Will is wrong. Possibility 2 is that it is Fabian Share here, and this bit's wrong. Or that Barnes, because he's had his wife gave birth, I think, yesterday, maybe Barnes is the one that misses out. Or, like I say, it could just be that the entire 11's wrong. I'm not sure. Let's see what he says. I will note, last week, to give him his props, Will was absolutely spot on with the entire 11. In the past, though, he's been horribly wrong. In fact, I've got his account muted because he's been wrong on so many occasions. So, again, it's going to be completely up to you. Maybe just completely ignore both of us. Maybe ignore me, ignore Will, and that's the best way to approach it. I'm not sure. I'll let you decide at your own discretion. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring that to your attention that someone has called out that is incorrect. Thank you for your message as always, Chris. Right, let's go back to answering your questions. Where was I? Ross, I think you missed my earlier super chat accidentally. Do I need to send it again for you to see? APAC. I'll have a look now, my friend. There is a chance I missed it. Missed it? Oh, yes, I did. Sorry, mate. I don't know. Sometimes for some reason they mess up the order. Hi, Ross. I'm sat on 7 million but don't want to make transfers. Okay? Am I being too patient and playing catch-up already? Sanchez, Richards, Van der Ven, Gabriel, Salavert, Semenyo, Reinders, Rogers, Watkins, Pedro, Wood and Williams on the bench. Mate, that is a great team. That looks almost borderline like a wildcard team. You are absolutely not being too patient. I can almost categorically promise you that team will get you a green arrow in the coming weeks. Like, you will improve. Like, that's such a strong team. I would absolutely just keep it as it is. De Kalpa to Munoz and 8 Neri to Livramento for a -4. I think that's nice, yeah. Hi, Ross. -4 for Saar and Strand Larsen to King and Gyökeres, or Dewsbury Hall and Mateta. -4 for Saar and Strand Larsen to King and Gyökeres, or Dewsbury Hall and Mateta. I quite like King and Gyökeres. I think this week that's better. Maybe longer term, Dewsbury Hall Mateta is a better combo. I think either of those are fine. And yes, I would take the -4 to sell Saar and Strand Larsen. I might be tempted to go King and Gyökeres, you know. Had to do Saar to Kudus, Juf to VBD. Who the hell is VBD? I don't even know who VBD is. That's a typo? VBD? Van Dijk? I don't mind selling Juve for a hit. I think if it was for a hit, though, I'd just start Juve. So maybe it doesn't matter. I would just start Juve rather than take a hit. Pick 4, Paquetá, Bruno, Wood, Kudus, Reinders. If I had to drop one of those, it'd be Chris Wood. I'd start Paquetá, Bruno, Kudus, and Reinders. Blue Kaz says, hey, Rossi, hello. Sanchez, Dubravka, Porro, Milenkovic, De Kalpa, Juve, Goodmanson. Kudus, Wirtz, Salah, Reinders, Wilson, Wood, Pedro, Watkins. Okay. 1 and 3 transfer in 2.5 and 2.4 in the bank. I hate the team, but don't want to wildcard yet. What would you do? I don't think that needs a wildcard. I will just say that I also don't think you wouldn't not benefit from a wildcard. I think you can absolutely wildcard that. Considering you've got Kudus, Wirtz, Salah, João Pedro, Watkins, Reinders are all good for this week. What would I do with that team? I think the clear place probably where you could maybe do a transfer is the defence. So maybe you sell Milenkovic to Munoz or something like that and just boost the defence a little bit. I think other than that, if you're not going to make that move, you could just roll the transfer and just hope that you have a decent week. Niall says, hi Ross, on a free hit, Raya Anderson, Van Dijk, Munoz, Lacroix, Livramento, Salah, Gakpo, Madueke, Haaland, Mateta. Debating Gabriel, Evanilson for Virgil and Madueke. I quite like Virgil and Madueke on a free hit. I think that's a really strong team, mate. I'm not going to massively criticise any of that. Is there anything I would change? No, I think on a free hit, I would quite like to squeeze Gyökeres in, but I can understand why not. And to be honest, that defence looks really strong. Yeah, no, I think that's a strong team. That's a strong team. Ariel Lavender says, I sold Ismaila Sarr and Bruno Fernandes to Dewsbury Hall and Salah. Great. Looking to free hit in Game Week 6 to get Haaland. Would you start Dewsbury Hall or Papa Sarr this week? I think Dewsbury Hall is just a better player and pick for FPL, so I would go Dewsbury Hall. Hi, Ross, you are a legend. Thank you, Michael. Start 2 of Elanga, Porro, King. Oh, wow. I mean, I'd have to bench King there. I couldn't have benched Elanga. Great fixture. And I think Pedro Porro is brilliant. Maybe I do bench Pedro Porro for King. I'd definitely start Elanga. It'd be one of the others. Double Newcastle Crystal Palace defence on free hit. I'd honestly go double Newcastle. Go like Livramento and Lewis Hall or something like that. Bench 1, Wood, Bruno, Dewsbury Hall. Wood, Bruno, Dewsbury Hall. Probably Chris Wood. I just play the fixture. Chris Wood, I think, is the one that has the toughest fixture there. Evans says, sells Cucurella, Porro, Anderson, Dewsbury Hall, Reinders, Salah, Rogers, Wirtz, Watkins, João Pedro. Bench of Dubravka, Wood, Juve, Esteve. Any suggestions for transfers? Defence looks fantastic, other than sells, and I wouldn't sell sells, so you don't need to touch the defence. Midfield looks really good. I'd probably roll the transfer. Yeah, I'd roll the transfer, Evan. I don't think you need to make a transfer there. Munoz / Richards or Gay? I think Gay is the worst. I say this and the man can't stop scoring and getting assists. I think that Richards is better for DEFCON, Lacroix is better for DEFCON and has more goal threat than Gay, and Munoz is more attacking. So I think I would go for Munoz or Richards ahead of Gay. But he's very nailed on and he is in a really nice streak, and maybe Gay is in form as a defender. I don't know if that even exists in terms of goal threat. I'd probably go for Munoz in that case, or even Lacroix. I think Lacroix is probably the best option if you look at value. I forgot earlier, Captain Haaland or Ekatike. I've got a captaincy ranking that goes around top left of the screen, but I would captain Haaland ahead of Ekatike. Hi, Ross, you missed my earlier super chat. If people are going to super chat to say I missed a super chat, you might as well just copy the super chat in. I hopefully don't miss many, but if I do, then... Because now I have to scroll, and I don't think I can find the original. Yeah, I don't see myself missing one. So you've done another super chat to say I missed the super chat, but then you could have just copied the super chat. You know what I mean? Sorry. J underscore 0629 took a -8 for Verbruggen / Raya and Canarsi? Consa / Senesi. That was a combination of the two. Am I going crazy? Took a -8 for Verbruggen to Raya and Consa to Senesi. I do think that's a little crazy, yeah, if I'm being honest, but I don't think it's like a terrible set of moves. I have already brought in Munoz for Milenkovic with 0.9 in the bank. If you're asking if you should do it, no. If you're asking if you've done it, it's too late anyway, and I think it's fine transfers. And yeah, I like Munoz for Milenkovic too. It sounds like you've at least massively upgraded your team, so it should be moving forward that you get the green arrows. Maybe not this week if you're on a -8, but after this week, you should be in a good place. Bench one of Porro, Romero, or Consa. You can look at this two ways. You can either spread the risk and bench one of your Spurs assets, or you go all in and just bench Consa. I would probably bench Consa out of those options there. How do you think the Euro games and big squads will affect FPL this year? The Euro games? Do you mean the Euro or do you mean the Champions League? If you mean the Euro, then that's something maybe to discuss a little bit later. I think it will be more rotations. Potentially. Yeah, maybe something to discuss a little bit later in the year. If you mean about Champions League and stuff, then maybe I'll discuss that going into next week. But yeah, if you mean the Euros, then we'll discuss that a bit later in the year, I think. What's your thoughts on Haaland triple captain? Not against Man United, no. Since joining the Premier League, he scored 8 goals in 3 matches in Game Week 4. I mean, that's a very niche thing to say, like, it being Game Week 4 doesn't mean anything. Maybe this is a good time of year for Haaland in terms of his fitness and form, maybe. I would absolutely be happy captaining Haaland. I just don't see triple captaincy as being optimal this week. Baxter says, hey Ross, what do you think about this for a wild card? Vicario, Richards, Van Dijk, Burn, Munoz. Okay, I like that back line. Minte, Salah, I almost said salad. Salah, Semenyo, Gakpo, and then Jean-Philippe, Mateta, and João Pedro as the front two. Sanchez, Dewsbury Hall, Anderson, Wood. Not sure if I want to start Anderson for 5 defenders. I'd be very tempted in all honesty. To be fair, if I just wouldn't go for Anderson. I'd go for Senesi. If you're not starting Anderson this week, it's his best fixture. So yeah, in that case, just maybe switch Anderson to Senesi, who has better fixtures in the long term. I like that team. It's really nice. I think if you're going for a Salah-only draft, it's about what I would go for. I think the only thing that you're missing is that there's 0 Arsenal. And I think from Game Week 7 onwards, everyone's going to want Arsenal. So around Game Week 7, you're going to be like 2 or 3 transfers behind those that wildcard at that time. So yeah, I would maybe just try and squeeze an Arsenal defender in there, potentially Ori Gyökeres. But it's a really nice team, Baxter. Start Cash or Anderson? Probably Anderson just for the DEFCON. I know he hasn't hit it, but he's been very close. Reinders, Simon, or Senesi? Is that Xavi Simons? I think that's Xavi Simons. Who's Simon? Simon? I think that's Simmons. Reinders, Simmons, or Senesi? Or is there another Simon? Start this week, is that? I'd start Reinders. But I mean, if it's Xavi Simons, then you probably would start Xavi Simons ahead of Reinders. I also don't know if this is to buy, bench, sell. I need more. I need more from the question. Ola Andre says, any suggestions? Okay, I've got your team, my friend. I've got 1.8 million in the bank to change Ekatike to Isak soon. So I assume this is a wild card thing, because it looks very, very strong. Love Raya. Munoz, Richards, good pick. Yeah, I like the defense is fantastic. Great midfield. Tavernier's a cheeky punt. I think that's a brilliant team. I'm going to give 0 suggestions. I just think you absolutely just let that fly. Scuba Steve has just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much, Scuba Steve. So Claire has received a membership. Kai has. Ryan has. Ramoya has. And Pepe has received a membership courtesy of Mr. Scuba Steve. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Look at that. Look at the support. I've just seen your message, Zodiac. Yeah, that's 3 years. A 3-year sub. Just want to use it to say I appreciate you a lot, both as a person and all the content you provide. You're a good guy, Ross. Thank you very much. And you are as well, my friend. Yeah, that's 3 years. That's a long time. Jordan says, hi, Ross. Free here. Okay, Jordan, I've got your team. Loved my team until I heard the doubt. What doubt? Oh, about Barnes. I see what you mean. Let's see what Will proposes. I mean, I do think that there's probably enough that would put me off Barnes now, seeing a picture of him yesterday in the hospital with his wife. Like, there is a good chance that he probably does miss out. That might be the change. But yeah, the team, I think, looks really strong outside that. You could literally just switch Barnes to, like, Kudus if you wanted to keep the rest of it pretty similar. But yeah, I really, really like it. I don't think there's much that I desperately want to change there. I don't know if I probably wouldn't have, like, Tossin or Van de Ven. I think those are the two that I would rather go for, like, Richards and Anderson as my 4.5 defenders. But the rest of it looks really strong. Scuba Steve has become a Rap Team member as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. After gifting the membership, you actually become one yourself. That's very, very sweet of you. Khan says, should I wildcard? Okay. Strong question to ask at this point. Only just over an hour to the deadline. Let's look at it. Does that team need a wildcard? You got Salah, Verts, Reinders, Semenyo, Watkins. That is not a wildcard team. Absolutely not. Should I do Watkins and Esteve to Mateta and Munoz for a -4? Still probably wouldn't do that. I honestly think I would roll the transfer, Khan. That's a very strong team. I think relax. It's not as bad as you think. Just let it go. The thing you could do is Nico Williams to Lacroix if you're not happy with your defence. But I think otherwise, I think that's a really strong team. Charlie says, I have Sarr and Aina injured and Esteve as my other sub. Should I take out Sarr for King to have a bench option? Yeah, I would probably replace Sarr, Charlie, if that's your bench at the moment. Start Agbadu or Williams? I would start Agbadu, probably. How many players have played the day after their partner gave birth? Quite a few, but some have also missed it as well. Who was it that missed it at the start of the season? Damsgaard. Damsgaard missed game week 1, I think, for the birth of his child. But I don't know, again, if she gave birth or went into labour like the morning of. I'm not really exactly sure. I'm not tracking the pregnancies that close. But yeah, there is a chance he still plays. Absolutely. I'll just be interested to see what Will says in terms of what he thinks the team is. But again, he's just been quite cryptic with just an X. I don't think he's going to give any information. But again, this guy's been wrong and right, so it's very difficult to know what is the right or the correct team. Hi Ross, what do you think of Mbermo? He's expensive. Like, I think if Mbermo was like 7 mil in and around that, I'd probably consider him as one of the better options. But he's like quite a bit more expensive than Gakpo, than Semenyo, and I'm just not sure that Mbermo's that good of a payer with the fixtures. Obviously, if he had Burnley and Everton in the next two, I'd probably suggest Brian Mbermo, but with Man City and Chelsea in the next two, I think you can probably look elsewhere. What are your thoughts on this team? I've got your team, Gifty. 0.4 in the bank. I'm probably going to compliment you here and say I think that's a wild card. It looks a little bit too good to not be a wild card. So let's assume that is a wild card. I really like it. Would I change anything? Not really, no. Yeah, that has to be a wild card. It's a really nice team. Yeah, no issues at all. I don't think there's anything I'd desperately change. You could even save a bit of money and go for Dewsbury Hall rather than Grealish. And then you could use that money to maybe boost up the defence slightly. You could go for Munoz instead of Gay. You could even then leave more money in the bank to go and get Isak Frekatike in the future. Stevie Boy says, what to do with Strand Larson? I'd sell him. I can sell for 7 million or less. Is Evan Ilson still 7 million? If he is, I'd Strand Larson to Evan Ilson. Looks good. Or bench him and play Wood and do a double transfer next week to Mateta or João Pedro. Yeah, you could do a double transfer next week and play Wood. I'd be tempted to... So I'd say either Evan Ilson or, yeah, double transfer next week to buy João Pedro for Strand Larson. Ryan says, hi Ross, on a wildcard and need some advice on a double up. Cucurella and João Pedro or Munoz and Mateta? On a wildcard, well, I think, how much is difference is that? 0.5, 2 points. It's like a 0.7 million difference. Cucurella and João Pedro is probably the better combination, but it's like, if you go for Munoz and Mateta, where can you spend the money? Also, what is your chip strategy? If you're free hitting in 6, Munoz and Mateta are fine. If you're not free hitting in 6, Ryan, then don't go Munoz and Mateta, go Cucurella and João Pedro. There are a lot of questions I'd need asking and answering before I could help you there. But I think in isolation, money not in considered, Cucurella and João Pedro are the better pair. I've done Sarr to Xavi. Should I do a -4 for Juve to Munoz? I would just start Juve. I wouldn't have taken a hit if I had to do that to sell Juve. The reason I sold Juve is because it was for free. Best 5 million and below replacement for Ola Aina. Is Lacroix over 5 million now, or is he still 5 mil? If Lacroix is still 5 mil, then go Lacroix. Otherwise, just drop all the way down to Senesi, I think. Hi, Ross. What are your thoughts on Sarr to King and Esteve to Munoz? Really like that, if it's for free. Don't know about taking a hit to bring in Munoz, but yeah, I really like that overall. Also, would you start Dewsbury Hall or Wood? I would start Dewsbury Hall, Dan, I think. On a free hit, Voltemade or Madueke is a differential. I'd go Voltemade, unless we get a leak that he doesn't start in the next hour. But I think Voltemade could be exciting. Hi, Ross. I had a nightmare and my account got messed up and I have to start FPL again. I'm thinking of just bench boosting off the bat. Any tips? Oh, sorry. I laughed because I thought you were literally a literal nightmare. You're saying, I've had a nightmare. Okay, I'm sorry. That's not funny at all. I'm thinking of just bench boosting off the bat. Any tips? Yeah, I mean, you're going to struggle to do really well because you're already like 200 points behind some people. But yeah, just go straight for it. I mean, yeah, straight for the bench boost. Potentially even straight for a free hit as well. Like, try and make the points back so that it's at least fun. Just attack, aggressive. You can't get away with just putting out a really boring team and just playing like everyone else because you're like 150, 200 points behind now. So, MJM says, hi, Ross. Hello, MJM. I have 2 free transfers and... Okay, I've got your team. Only sell 8 Nuri to Senesi or also Strand Larsen to Even Ilson to bench Damsgaard. Thank you. I don't mind starting Damsgaard, but I also like Strand Larsen. I think I would make both moves. Yeah, bring in the 2 Bournemouth boys, Senesi and Even Ilson. I think I'd go for both. But equally, like Damsgaard could do a little bit of damage in this game. Gives you an extra week to make a decision about who you want to replace Strand Larsen with. I think you could go either way with that. I would probably just about lean towards making the move. Luke says, hi, Ross, should I start Giyu or Wan-Bissaka? I'd probably just go for it and start Giyu. Because Wan-Bissaka is probably not going to do much himself. Mark says, hi, Ross, on a free hit. Okay, I've got your team. What are your thoughts? Love the Jeremy punt. Don't mind Paquetá. I think on a free hit, I probably wouldn't have Paquetá. Especially as... I suppose you don't have any Spurs defenders. Maybe if you expect Spurs to concede, I don't hate it. I would probably... Like, you've got King on the benchmark. I'd probably just play King ahead of Paquetá. But yeah, really nice team. Like Ekatike. I like having Salah and Haaland. Defense looks fantastic. Pino's a nice punt. Yeah, looks good. Should I buy a defender / change Sarr -4 for Semenyo and a defender? So your defense at the moment, Blizzard, is Van der Ven, Richards, Williams, Sanchez. I think Sarr to Semenyo is good. I don't know that you need to make a defender transfer, but if you wanted to as well, you could. I would probably just make the Sarr to Semenyo for free and leave it there and not make the defender move. B says 3 transfers and 0 in the bank. What would you do? Okay. It's a great team, actually. Strand Larsen's the key issue, but you've got 0 in the bank. Where can you free up money? Nowhere, really. I mean, the only 2 places you can free up money is Palmer, who I wouldn't sell, or Bruno, or Watkins, potentially. That's a very tough one. I don't want to sell Watkins in that team, but the only thing I can think of there would be Watkins down to João Pedro and Larsen up to Mateta. So Watkins and Larsen to João Pedro Mateta. That might be stronger overall. I mean, you could potentially even get away with rolling with that team. You've got a fine defence there this week. You've got some cover. But the thing is, if Palmer misses out and Strand Larsen, Guy won't start, that's a really tricky team to decide what to do with B. I'd be tempted to get just João Pedro and Mateta in for Watkins and Larsen, but I don't love the idea of selling Ollie Watkins, so that's up to you. Bector says, hi Ross, benching headache this week. Would you start Rodgers or Reinders? I would start Morgan Rodgers personally, but I do think it's a good fixture for Reinders. That's a tough one. I'd like to start both of them, but I would probably just about lean Morgan Rodgers. Jay says, good morning, bud. Good morning, Jay. I hope you and Pickle are well. We are well, thank you. Salah or Ekatike captain? Salah for me, unless you're the sort of person that likes to get really aggressive with captaincy, Jay. Maybe you are. Maybe that's the best idea for you. Odds that Iliman Ndiaye starts. It didn't sound great the way that Moyes delivered it. I'll still put it at like 40% because he didn't say that he's out. But the way that Moyes said it, it was like if we're trying to read into expressions and tone of voice, he was like, yeah, Iliman and Jai is a bit of a doubt, sadly. It wasn't like, yeah, he's a bit of a doubt, but we're hopeful kind of thing, you know? It might just be mind games as well, because this is a big game for Everton. I was like, who does David Moyes manage? Hi, Ross. Thoughts on my free hit, please? Okay. Petrovic, Munoz, Richards, Livramento, Porro, Reinders, Salah, Gakpo, Semenyo, Ekatike, Haaland, Cap. Good luck this week. Good luck to you as well, Christopher. Love it. I'm trying to think, can I criticize that free hit anywhere? Maybe Petrovic? Could you squeeze Petrovic to Pope or something? Don't love the Petrovic pick. Other than that, it's a really nice team. Yeah, I really like it. No complaints, Christopher. Hi, Ross. Start João Pedro or Mateta? Both. There is not a world in which you bench either João Pedro or Mateta. So I'm not answering that question, Yoel. Start both and find someone else to bench. I have Livramento and Kudus in my free hit team with King on the bench. Should I go a bit more attacking with someone like Eze/Pedro, Neto for Kudus? Yeah, I don't mind a slightly more differential play, like a Pedro Neto or an Eze. I still think Kudus is as good, if not slightly better, for this week. I don't know that I'd go Eze. I think there's just a slight risk. Maybe Madueke. Madueke, I would be surprised if he doesn't start on the right again. So maybe he's the fun pick you could go for. Ishan says, okay, I've got your free hit as well. Is there anything that I'm missing? Well, you've said Gyökeres is on the bench and starting. I assume he's not on the bench. So is there anything that I think you're missing with that? That's a lovely team. Yeah, you've got some fun punts. Madueke, Yeremy Pino. You've got Ekatike, Gyökeres. That's a great free hit team. I mean, I would say probably Haaland's the only thing that's desperately missing there. But you've got such a strong team outside of that. I think that's one of the better free hit teams I've seen at Sham. MN Chuckster, good to see, my friend, says, hi, my team is... Okay, I've got your team. Would you roll the transfer or do Sarr to some other midfielder? Start them and bench Wood. If you've got the money to do Sarr to Semenyo, you don't own Semenyo. If you've got the money to do Sarr to Semenyo, I would do it. Your other option, you could potentially sell Ryan Nuri this week if you wanted to and go and get a Munoz and start Munoz ahead of Wood. Like, you don't have to buy an attacker here. You could give Sarr a little bit longer, 8 Nuri to Munoz and play like a 4 at the back. I think those are your two options. Sarr to Semenyo or 8 Nuri to Munoz. You could even buy Gabriel or Virgil van Dijk. But yeah, I don't mind the idea of selling 8 Nuri, actually. Bowen and Dorgu to Mateta Munoz. If not, Juve starts. If that's for free, Rob, yes. If it's for a hit, no. Do you still think a 4-4-2 is the best formation on free hit? I don't know about the best formation. I think if you're going to go for Salah and Haaland, yes. If you don't have Salah and Haaland, no. I think you go for 7 attackers. I'd only go for a 4-4-2 if it's to get Salah and Haaland in, I think. Hi, Ross. Madueke or Eze on free hit? Madueke, I think, for me, James. Newcastle defender to go with on free hit. I'd go Livramento. Feels safe. He's been pretty impressive so far. I think that's a good option. Guiu to Mateta or João Pedro? I'd go João Pedro. You say you prefer Mateta, though. If you prefer Mateta, go Mateta. I preferred Mateta. Hence, I went Mateta. But I think in isolation, objectively, taking my emotion out of it, João Pedro is a slightly better pick than Mateta. Is it better to take a hit for Munoz knowing he could rise in price and I want to bring him in next week anyway? Are you sure you'd want to bring... Like, I do feel like this is the entry point for Crystal Palace. If you know for a fact you're going to want Munoz anyway next week, then maybe. But I don't think that's a good enough reason. Like, it depends what the rest of your team looks like, Oscar. I think I'd need to see the rest of your team. But yeah, if you want him next week anyway, and you could do with having him this week, then maybe just go for him. Start 2 of Dorgu, Milenkovic, Juve, Estev. Oh, that's rough. Probably Milenkovic and Juve. Yibin NG says, hi Ross, thoughts on my wildcard team? Okay, I've got it. So it's a Haaland-only wildcard. Great defence. Love that defence, in fact. Great midfield. That's a fantastic wildcard, Yibin. Yeah, I really, really, really like that. Love the defence. Midfield super solid. Nice picks in there. No complaints. I think that's pretty much as good as you can do. You've already got a little bit of Arsenal coverage ahead of time. Cucurella and Munoz. Fantastic. Nitin says, looking to sell 8 Nuri. Would you go Van Dijk or an Arsenal defender? Can't get Gabriel on a free. I'm leaning towards Van Dijk for now because of the next few fixtures. Yeah, I'd probably go Van Dijk in that case, Nitin. I think you're along the right lines. Yeah, if you've already got Palace and Spurs, you don't want to go for a Munoz or Porro or Lacroix, then yeah, maybe go for Van Dijk. I don't mind it. I think the next 2 fixtures are very good. And he's great for DEFCON. He's been super, super good so far this season for defensive contributions. By the way, if you are enjoying the stream and you're not yet subscribed, can I please ask you to consider subscribing? Really appreciate it. We're trying to hit 175,000 by the end of 2025. I think it's a little bit optimistic, if I'm being entirely honest. I think it's probably a target I should set for the end of the season, but we are trying to go for it. And by the way, there is an hour until the deadline, and I need a wee, which is not good. I like to try and not wee during the stream, but I might not be able to make it this time. Van de Ven, Esteve, Richards, Joof, De Kalper, Anderson, Reinders, Salah. Okay, what is this? Is this just your team? Okay, yeah, 3 free transfers, Matthew. Any advice? 0 in the bank. Keep smashing it, bro. Thank you very much, Matthew. Ooh, what would I do with 3 free transfers but nothing in the bank? So you need to find somewhere to free up money, of which there is no obvious place, or just make a sideways switch. Joof to Anderson, I don't mind. Unless that is the... No, I think you've just spelt that the wrong way. That is Anderson, the Fulham Anderson, isn't it? You could kind of do with the defender transfer, but you've got no money, and I don't see an obvious place to downgrade to free up the money. I honestly think... No, sorry, that is the midfield Anderson, isn't it? But you've got Van de Ven. I honestly do wonder if your best shout here is just rolling the transfer, Matthew, again. Because, again, there are places where I would change your team, but you'd need money to do so. Like, upgrade the defence, but you'd need to downgrade Ekitike or Wirtz to do so. I honestly think, Matthew, maybe you just roll again. And the team's not bad at all. Like, having Wirtz, Ekitike, Haaland, João Pedro, it's a good-looking team for this week. Nick says, need a defender to bench boosting every 5. Have Porro, Munoz, Milenkovic, Murillo. Will eventually lose the Forest defenders to Burn, Senesi, and either Anderson or Lacroix. What's best now for 5 million? I think Senesi or Lacroix. I really like Lacroix for the next 2. I think that's a great shout. But yeah, otherwise, Senesi also for the next 2 looks really good. Akil says, if you were on a free hit, would you... Okay, what's the question? Or should I get Mateta instead of Gyökeres? So it's just Mateta versus Gyökeres, is that the question? I would rather Gyökeres this week, just about. But it depends, like... If you go for Mateta, where else could you upgrade the team, I suppose? I mean, it doesn't look like the team needs an upgrade. I would probably go Gyökeres over Mateta, personally. Philip says, which side looks better? Haaland, Reinders, Dewsbury Hall, Anderson, or Ekitike, Semenyo, Grealish, Gabriel? That's tough. That's tough. Oh, that is tough, actually, isn't it? I probably would say the non-Haaland side does look better, but I think Haaland could go huge. Like 2-3 goals kind of huge. But Ekitike could. Gabriel's nice. Maybe it is the non-Haaland side. Yeah, probably the non-Haaland side is better overall. Charlie says, I hope you've not gone for a Wii yet. No, but I probably will have to, sadly. What's your chip strategy? I think at the moment... The most obvious plan for me is still to free hit in 6 and wildcard in 13. But there is a chance that I look to wildcard earlier. So wildcard around maybe 6 or 7. Or there's a chance that I just save all of them and make a couple of transfers. There we go. The counter is now correct. Good. We have the deadline counter back for the most important part, the final hour. Thank you to whoever that told me to check it. Man, Ross team's looking so good this week. Guaranteed red arrow coming. Yeah, my team looks far too good. It's going to be a red arrow. I mean, I'm not saying my team's perfect, by the way. It's not like free hit standard. But for someone that's not taken a hit and he's not playing a chip this week, other than maybe like Bruno Fernandes and Reinders in that same game, it looks really good, I think. And maybe like Ollie Watkins, you'd rather have Gyökeres. But again, it's not a free hit, so I'm quite happy with this team. Xavi Simons or Josh King? I assume this is on a free hit, otherwise it's a very weird question. Probably Xavi Simons if it's a straight shootout. I need a replacement for Iliman Ndiaye. I'd honestly just keep him. But if you are going to replace him, maybe go down to Paquetá. Or maybe just move sideways to Kudus if you've got the money in the bank. Right, where was I? I answered your super chat, Philip. I know you just said my super chat, but I answered it. just now, so just go back a few mins. Callum says, rate my wildcard. Okay, Callum, I can do that. I would give your wildcard an 8.8 out of 10. My only concern with your wildcard, Calafiori I don't think starts every game. So I would rather try and get to Gabriel or go like Raya and Cucurella if you can find the money. I don't think Van de Ven is one of the better 4.5 defenders. I'm being hypercritical, by the way, at this point. And is that it? Yeah, maybe Gakpo and Ekatike is a little bit of a risk on a wild card, considering Isak is there. Maybe I'd only go for one. But I think overall it's a really strong wild card, Callum. Mark says, on free hit, Raya Verts, João Pedro, or Henderson, Gakpo, Gyökeres. Raya Verts, João Pedro, on a free hit, or Henderson, Gakpo, Gyökeres. Wow. What do we think about that one, chat? On a free hit, Raya Verts, João Pedro, or Henderson, Gakpo, Gyökeres. I like having an Arsenal defender. I think Verts could have a good game in a game like this where I have a lot of the ball. João Pedro is fantastic. I think I would go for the Raya Verts João Pedro combo but that's a very, very close one. So Hale says, hi from Australia, Ross. Big love to Australia. Estev / Williams / Juve, who goes first? I sold Juve. So I would say I would sell Juve first. Estev's just really cheap. And I think Williams with Burnley next week is nice. So I went for Juve instead. But considering you're free hitting 6, you could say, well, do you know what? I lose one of Williams' good fixtures. I'll sell Williams instead. I would keep Estev just because you don't need to have 5 great defenders. Like you can get away with having one cheap one. So I would sell Williams or Juve. Ashar says, Nico Williams, Sar, JSR. I assume that's JSL rather than JSR. I don't know it's SR. Yeah, I'll assume that's JSL. Williams, Sar, Strand Larsen to Munoz, Semenyo, Gyökeres, -4. Yeah, I quite like that, actually. I don't love a -4, but to get those 3 coming in, I would probably do that, Ashar. Is Palmer playing? My instinct would be to say no. But I also, I wouldn't be surprised if he does start and get 60. I just think with the important games that they've got coming up, I think, is it Bayern Munich next week? I could absolutely foresee... I could absolutely foresee it being a Palmer start in 60 minutes or on the bench. I've just been... Okay. So the lineup's wrong. Teal Hall, Alanga out. I trust this one a lot more. I'll send a cheaper chat and I hope you can... Okay, I've just been sent the team. Okay, so the news I got yesterday was wrong then. Okay, so it's Fabian Schär, Hall and Alanga. Okay. I'm going to have to... Sorry, guys. I've just been sent a DM from the guy that sent the team and apparently there are changes. Okay, right. Let me sort this out because obviously people have got incorrect info. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Sorry, 2 seconds. So apparently, I should read out what I'm reading right now. Fabian Schär, Trippier, and Murphy in, Hall, Alanga, and Teal. It's weird. Alanga doesn't start then, this says. I don't know what to do. Oh dear. Sorry guys, 2 seconds. Murphy and... So yeah, so apparently the Newcastle team that I sent out yesterday was wrong, and apparently Trippier, Murphy and Fabian Schär are in for that Teal, Hall and Alanga. This is not ideal to be doing in the middle of a stream, but I have to sort this out. So it's this. Sorry, guys. 2 seconds. That's the team then, right? Teal Horlanger out. Yeah. Murphy, Baltimore, Barnes, Tonali, Bruno, Joelinton, Trippier, Sherburn, Tino. I think that's correct. Right. Like, I'll have to keep an eye on that. Sorry, guys. I'm very, very sorry for doing that middle stream. He now says that he is very confident that the new team is correct. So I should show you that new team. I don't know if Will was posted anything, but it's this. Teal, Hall, and Alanga are not starting, and Trippier, Murphy, and Cher are in. So the team would be Pope, Trippier, Cher, Burn, Tino, Tonali, Bruno, Joelinton, Murphy, Baltimore, Barnes. Very weird that Alanga's the one that misses out again. So we'll see. I don't know why it would have changed so much. I just won't post about it in the future. It's apparently pronounced Chow. Okay, oh, Chow. I thought I was just pronouncing it based on how it was spelled, but thank you for letting me know. Yes, anyway, right, I won't keep going on about it, but there you go. And I do apologize again for getting the info incorrect. I don't like doing that. I just won't post it in the future. And you can get blocked. Where block? Look at that. I mean, you want to be abusive on... I would just add, of course, will just avoid sharing this info moving forward with it now being incorrect. To this point, it had been 100% correct. This is it. You just put in such a terrible position because you don't post it, and it, like I said, it's correct. It's just an awful position to be in. You blocked him after you got it wrong because he called me a twat. I'm not gonna. you can say I got it wrong, but you can. You're not gonna. I will block anyone that says something like that on social media. Anyway, back to what we were doing. How many did I miss? Where was I? Right, I think, yeah, I'm there. I'm on Alanga / Noni 50-50. Right, with the latest news, then you just replace Alanga and go for Noni Madueke. Gabriel or Van Dijk to replace Ryan Aït-Nouri? Gabriel or Van Dijk to replace Ryan Aït-Nouri? I would go... See, the next two, Van Dijk's so much better, but Gabriel is the better long-term pick. I'd probably go Van Dijk. Would I? No. I'd need to see the rest of your team, know your future plans. Van Dijk's better for the next 2 weeks. Edan says, hello, mate. Our weekly date. Hello, good to see you. I'm free hitting this game week. Should I go Gahey or Lacroix? I would go Lacroix. I prefer Richards for DEFCON long term, but in a single week, yeah, probably Gahey and Lacroix are both better than Richards on a one-off basis because they have more goal threat. I'd go Lacroix. Toby says 3 free transfers. Sanchez, Aït-Nouri, Agbadou, Van de Ven, Williams, Goodmanson, Palmer, Salah, Bruno, Njai, Reinders, Mateta, Watkins, Giyu. Help. Okay, so Aït-Nouri is an issue. Palmer's a potential issue. Njai's a potential issue. Williams a potential issue. But you've got 3 free transfers. The thing is, I wouldn't want to sell Palmer or Njai. It does look a little bit wildcardy, Toby. I'm not gonna, like, you could play a wild card here and just then you obviously have the free transfers when you came back. I think selling Ryan Aït-Nouri and Nico Williams works because then you can play a back 4 and you can get away with benching. Then you've still got Giyu. That's a horrible position to be in. Okay. I think downgrading Ryan Aït-Nouri and... No, that doesn't work. You're in a horrible position there, Toby. I don't know. I'd sell Ryan Aït-Nouri, absolutely, to anyone. Cucurella, Van Dijk, Gabriel, Munoz. You could then potentially sell Nico Williams to just give you a better fourth defender. Play a 4 at the back. But then you still ideally need one of Njai or Palmer to play. And I just don't know if they will. Because I really wouldn't want to sell Palmer and Njai. So maybe you just accept that this is a rubbish week. Or you play the wild card. Or you just sell one of them. Maybe just get rid of Palmer. Maybe you won't have great minutes anyway. Maybe Palmer is the way that you just free up the funds, get Palmer down to Semenyo, and then you've got all of the money to spend in the world. Because then at that point, you could do Palmer to Semenyo, 8 Nuri to Munoz, and you could upgrade Guiu to João Pedro. That's probably the play. I'd sell Palmer, Toby. That's my final piece of advice. Enshep says, thoughts on this free hit? Leno, Gay, Porro, Senesi, Barnes, Salah, Reinders, Madueke, Eva Nilsson, Haaland, Mateta. What could I improve with that? Senesi on a free hit seems a little bit... It's okay. It's a fine fixture. I expect Brighton to score. So maybe that's the one pick that I don't love there. Otherwise, it's good. Abdul Gadir. Okay, I've got your team. 3 free transfers. Please help. Okay, where are your issues? Palmer's an issue, potentially. I think that's it, right? The defense doesn't look fantastic for this week, actually. So maybe sell. You could do like... You could do Palmer to, similar to what I just said to the other guy. Palmer to Semenyo, Guiu up to Mateta or Gyökeres, and then you could even sell Dorgu. I'd be tempted to just play all 3, use all 3 transfers. Dorgu to Munoz, Palmer to Semenyo, and Guiu up to Gyökeres or Mateta. I think that's quite a nice set of transfers. Skrezor says, rate my wildcard. Sanchez, Dubravka, Senesi, Gabriel. Okay, I've got your wildcard. I'm not going to read out the names. I like it. I do think Elliott is a slight risk, but I also think he should probably go straight into the 11. You'd imagine anyway. Defense looks strong. I don't know if I have Van der Ven on a wildcard. I think there are better 4.5s again around that price. Like the midfield. I think there are quite a few punty picks in there. Like Ndoye. Do we know for a fact that he will be first choice for Ange? Elliott's a bit of a risk. Ekatike's a bit of a risk. Like, you've got a few too many sort of question marks around those players for me. But otherwise, it's nice. Strand Larson to João Pedro / Mateta. Or roll and play Dewsbury Hall. I'd probably make the move. I'd go João Pedro. Strand Larson to João Pedro. Irfan says, hi Ross, thoughts on this team? Sells, Munoz. Okay, I've got your team. I did Ryan 8 Nuri to Munoz. Should I be scared? No Salah or João Pedro. Listen, you can't own everyone. You've got some lovely picks. Gyökeres is great. Pedro Neto is lovely. You've got Munoz in your team. I think that's a great team. I'd be surprised if you don't do well over the coming weeks, Irfan. I think that's nice. Starting Tino on my free hit. Should I go Cher or Fabian Byrne? I mean, given the news that I just tweeted that I was wrong, Fabian Cher should be a great pick. Fabian Cher's fantastic. So with the latest news, free hit equals Murphy or Barnes. I think Barnes feels like the safer one. Barnes was in both teams that I was sent. I would go Harvey Barnes. Murphy could be a nice pick though on a free hit because not many people will have him. Strand Larson to João Pedro for a hit or just play Dewsbury Hall. Strand Larson to João Pedro for a hit or just play Dewsbury Hall. Oh, I just answered that, didn't I? But it's a different person. I was thinking, I'm sure I would go. Oh no, that was for a hit. Okay, that's the difference. I would play Dewsbury Hall. If it was for free, Chris, I would do Strand Larson to João Pedro. But to take a hit just to bench Dewsbury Hall, I'd just play Dewsbury Hall. And big love, thank you for the support. 8 Nuri replacements. Got Gabriel, 2.4 in the bank. I think probably Munoz or Van Dijk then, or Cucurella. Munoz, Cucurella, Van Dijk. I would go Munoz, I think. Hi Ross, I can't go straight to Semenyo as I have 0.2 less. Not happy with Wan-Bissaka and not a fan of the Spurs mids. I have Dewsbury Hall, 2 Liverpool, Bruno. Would you go Neto, Enzo, or defender? You could just upgrade Wan-Bissaka to Lacroix then and just leave Sarr for now. Yeah, maybe just go Wan-Bissaka to Lacroix. I think you should have the money then. 0.7. I think so. Yeah, maybe you sell Wan-Bissaka then and just make the defensive move. I don't mind that. I don't think there are any midfielders outside of Semenyo that stand out that much to me. I rate you for blocking him. I block a lot of people these days. When I first started out on social media, I didn't block anyone because I felt bad. I was like, like freedom of speech and like letting people do what they want. And then I just thought, why should I have to sit there if someone's not being very nice? Even if someone's not like overly rude, if someone's just not being very nice, I'll just block them because I just don't have the time for it. Sadly, when you're followed by 200,000 people, which I'm very grateful for, there's just a lot of negative comments. And I just don't enjoy being on social media when people aren't very nice. So, yeah, I'll block people. If people want to block me because they don't think I'm being nice, fair play to them. They can block me. I have no issue with it. I think you have the right to not have someone commenting on your post if you don't like what they're saying. Sarta Semenyo feels boring. What else can I do? Xavi Simons or Kudus are fine. Paquetá's a nice long-term pick, but not great short-term. If you can get up to Gakpo, that's obviously more exciting. I'd need to see a lot more than just that. But yeah, Xavi Simons could be a fun pick if you want to go a bit different. Forge Father has given me their team. Feels decent. Anything you would change? God, it does feel decent. What is this? Is this a wild card, a free hit? I don't know about Isak. If this is a free hit, I don't know about Isak. If it's a wild card, maybe getting him in ahead of time, I kind of get it. Yeah, if this is a free hit, no, I would get rid of Isak. If it's a wild card, in all fairness, I would still get rid of Isak. I'd just go Gyökeres or Watkins for now. But otherwise, I really like him. Free hit so I can triple captain Haaland game week 6. Okay, fair. I like it. That's a lovely team. Yeah, Voltemade, Gyökeres, Ekitike. Great midfield, great defense. Yeah, that is a fun pick. That's a fun pick and a fun team. I like it, Liam. No complaints from me. Timbo Slice says, hi, Egg. I did Sarta Paquetá. Okay. Team is now Sells, Munoz, Porro, Tosin, Salah, Gakpo, Rogers, Paquetá, Reinders, Watkins, Pedro. Team is Wood, Murillo, Esteve. No wildcard or free hit needed. Also scared that Wood scores versus Arsenal. I mean, you can always be scared of this stuff. But yeah, I ideally probably wouldn't want Wood starting this week if I could help it. I like Sarta Paquetá. I think that's a nice long-term pick. So are you benching... Yeah, Wood's on your bench. Is there anyone you could start him ahead of? I mean, you could start Wood ahead of Paquetá. I don't think Paquetá's great this week either. You've also got Pedro Porro. So maybe you just back that Spurs will keep a clean sheet, Timbo Slice. But yeah, I think you're fine benching Wood this week. It's a nice team. I don't think you need a free hit or a wild card, as you say. I think you can just rock with it. Xavi Simons or Kudus? I think I'd go Xavi Simons now. Like, there is a risk that he doesn't start, but I think he will. Like, he's had game time, he's had preseason. Like, fitness-wise, he should be good to go. I'd be very tempted to start Xavi Simons, yeah. Craig Hunt says, good morning, Ross. Good morning, Craig. Bench one of Porro, Juve, or Rogers. I'd bench Juve. Treasure Planet says, which two to start of Paquetá, Reinders, and Rogers? I would actually bench Paquetá from those options. I know he's the only penalty taker, but he's also got the toughest fixture, I think. Mohamed says, Lacroix or Senesi? I'm considering Munoz also, but might block me of future certain moves. I'm wondering, how do people send images of their team? You can't send images of teams on the stream, sadly. I would honestly be happy with either of them. Look at what your future moves are. If going for Lacroix doesn't block you, I think he's a better option than Senesi, but he's not that much better. So if going for Senesi just leaves you more options open in the future, maybe just do that. I think they're both great. João Pedro or Ivan Ilson? I have got Enzo and Semenyo. I'd go João Pedro over Ivan Ilson if you can afford it, Ben. El Nikos has given me their free hit team. Said tempted by Bob over Reinders. On a free hit, I actually don't mind going for Bob because worst case scenario, he gets benched, might come off the bench. In fact, often City attackers don't come off the bench at all. I think I would still go Reinders though, because Marmouche is out. I expect Reinders to play slightly further forward anyway, with maybe Bernardo Silva playing that slightly deeper role. I think Reinders might play a similar role to what we saw in Game Week 1 in this game. So, yeah, I'd still go Reinders, but you could take a punt on Bob. And the rest of the team is really nice. Abdul Gadir says, I can't afford Semenyo, Gyökeres, Munoz unless Palmer to KDH instead of Semenyo. I would just go João Pedro then, I think, Abdul Gadir, or Mateta, whichever one you didn't have. You don't have to go all the way up to Gyökeres. I would go Semenyo, Munoz, and then João Pedro or Mateta. Kieran says, good morning, Ross. Good morning, Kieran. Need to bench one of Bruno, Alanga, Dewsbury Hall, or Watkins. Suspect the answer might be Alanga, but finding it tough as I bought him last week. Good morning, Ross. Need to bench one of Bruno, Alanga, Dewsbury Hall, or Watkins. That's the tough. Well, okay, so who wouldn't I bench? Oh, Alanga. Yeah. I would go Alanga, based on the news that we've had. Sorry, I completely forgot that we had that news. Again, it could be wrong again. It could be doubly incorrect. But I think based on that news, unless we hear an update from someone else which says he starts, then I would go that way. João Pedro or Mateta in? Ooh, if you're wildcarding in 6 or 7. If I was wildcarding in 6 or 7, Mateta is interesting. I still think just João Pedro is a better player, though. A better FPL pick. And I know that's weird because I went Mateta, but like I said, I just prefer Mateta myself. I enjoy having Mateta in my team. But I think João Pedro is probably the better pick. Callum says, okay, I've got your team, Callum. Any changes or is that an easy roll? Yeah, it's an easy roll for me. I mean, you've got Njai who might not play, but if Njai doesn't play because he's a DAO, Chris Wood comes in. And then other than that, the team's fantastic. So yeah, I think you can roll that. I think that's a good roll. Daniel Butler says, good morning, Ross. Who would you bench out of these attackers? I think that's a Dewsbury Hall benching probably. Also looking at Watkins for Gyökeres. I wouldn't make the move this week. I mean, if you do, it doesn't change your benching decisions, and you could make the move, but I think Watkins is perfectly fine to keep for a bit longer. So I would not make the move, and I would bench Dewsbury Hall, I think, out of those options. Andrew says, brother, please help. Going Salah, Virgil, and Haaland on wildcard. Love the punt, but Enzo and Paquetá versus Semenyo and Spurs Sarr. I mean, as a combo, Enzo and Paquetá is better. Or Semenyo and King and save yourself 0.5. In fact, I'd probably do that. Semenyo and King and save yourself 0.5. Gary, 7.3 million in the bank. Strand Larson, De Kuiper to Haaland, Goodmanson for a -4. Yes, Gary, I'd get that done if you can afford that. That's crazy. Hi, Russ. How are you? I'm good, thank you, Doug. Max, good to see you, my friend. Says, will Eze start? My inclination is to say yes, but because I don't know, I just don't know that I would take a punt. If you already own him, start him. If you want to take a punt on a free hit, go for it. I don't know that I would include him for now, though. Just what is the worst thing that can happen? Just wait a few games. If he looked great, bring him in. I don't know that I would risk it. Thomas says, good morning, lad. Play Nico Williams or Conser, Dewsbury Hall or Wood? I think Dewsbury Hall is the one I would start out of those options. Oh, Williams or Conser? Conser. Dewsbury Hall or Wood? Dewsbury Hall. I think they're two different questions there. Shah says, hey, Ross. Hello. Few dilemmas. Start 2 of Milenkovic, Conser, Trufer. I would bench Milenkovic. Should I go Milenkovic to Munoz? It then gives you a bit of a benching headache. So, I mean, you could, but I probably wouldn't. Start 2 out of Reinders, Wood, Ruter. I would bench Chris Wood and start Reinders and Ruter. And captain Wirtz or Semenyo instead of Haaland. I probably wouldn't, but if you're going to, I prefer a Wirtz captaincy to Semenyo. I don't think Brighton are a bad team at all. I'd probably go Wirtz captain. Hopefully that answers all your questions. And yeah, hopefully Manchester United get the win somehow. FPL The Max says, good morning, Ross. Good morning. Got excited, as you'll notice. Got Pedro, Gyökeres, Isak, Salah, Gakpo, Wirtz, Reinders, Porro, Williams, Van der Ven, Richards, and Sanchez. What to do? It's a great team. What to do? Enjoy your green arrow. I mean, the only issue there is Williams, but you've got Gakpo in there. You've got Salah, Wirtz, Gyökeres. It's a great team. Start Bob or Fernandes? I'd still start Bruno Fernandes there. Are you planning to free hit in 6? Yes. Otherwise, so there's 3 options. Free hit in 6, wildcard in 6, or just use my transfers to pivot from Salah to Haaland. But in game week 6, something big will be happening. Pratik says no Salah as he's not scored versus Burnley. Yeah, that's true. The last 6 games against Burnley, Salah is blanked. No Mateta on free hit. Okay, Haaland cap. Fair enough. I don't believe in this, by the way, that Salah hasn't scored against Burnley, therefore he will not. It's a completely different team at a completely different time and a completely different fixture now. So I would completely ignore that. But if you want to go without Salah, fair enough. It's a nice team. I don't have any huge issues with it. I'd potentially be tempted by Timber over Calafiori. Just looked so good in the last game. But yeah, it's nice. I like the double Newcastle defence as well. Grealish, Barnes, or Neto on free hit? I'd probably go Barnes. But the looks for if anyone else can confirm that he starts, that'd be good because I don't trust this obviously source now. On free hit, Gyökeres and Timber or João Pedro and Cucurella? Gyökeres and Timber or João Pedro and Cucurella? That's very tough on a free hit. I'd probably go Gyökeres and Timber. Just. Palmer to Semenyo. That's fine. I also think it's fine to keep Palmer, but yeah, I like Semenyo as well. But yeah, if you're not on free hit 6, I'd be tempted to keep Cole Palmer in the team. Ekatike or Wirtz? If you're buying one this week, maybe Wirtz, but I think on a free hit, Ekatike. Bench Wirtz, Barnes, or Reinders. I wouldn't bench any of those, but if you're going to have to, I would bench Reinders. Tamim says, okay, Sanchez, I got your team, Tamim. 2 free transfers, 1.4 in the bank. Thinking Juve and 8 Nuri to Van Dijk and Juve to Munoz, or just make 1 free transfer. Yeah, I actually really like that. Juve and 8 Nuri to Van Dijk and Munoz. Yeah, I would do those moves, Tamim. Would you start Rodon or Juve? Probably Juve. Probably Juve, just about. Are you making any more changes before the deadline? No, probably not. Probably not. Is Iliman Ndiaye fit? We don't actually know yet. We do not know. Yeah. Again, I do want... People are saying I don't need to apologise. I will apologise for sharing the incorrect team. I also apologise if the new team is also incorrect. It puts you in a very... puts you in a very tricky position. Yet someone else has just sent me the exact same Newcastle team of the new one that I've just shared. This new team looks like it's correct. This Pope, Trippier, Cher, Burn, Tino, Tonali, Bruno, Joelinton, Murphy, Voltemade, Barnes. So I think if you've got Elanga in your team, doesn't look great. If you were going to take a punt on Lewis Hall, don't. And if you have Fabian Cher or you want to go with Fabian Cher, that looks good. So just to confirm, this team here looks correct. And again, I'm very sorry for the incorrect first team that I sent. Right, let's get back to it. What changes did you make to your team? I just brought in Munoz for Juve. That was it. Why should we follow you instead of FPL Pickle? I'm not sure that you should. Red Sox Kid said, would you get Munoz for Nico/Juve for a -4? Not for a -4, no. Like, as I said, if I had the same team but no free transfers, I would have just left it. I only made the move because I had the ability to. It was like a little bit aggressive, but taking a hit for Munoz just doesn't feel great. Taking a hit for any defender ever doesn't ever feel too great. Dennis says, my man dying over here. Okay, I've got your team. What do I do? One free transfer, a wild card, or hit? So you've got Fulkrug, Johnson, Juve, Williams. I mean, you could certainly wildcard that. I wouldn't free hit because I just don't think it looks like a... Like, I think you'll come back to the same potential issues. I also think you could just use a transfer to take out... I like Brennan Johnson is a slight risk now. The defense doesn't look fantastic, though. I'd be tempted to wildcard, but you've not got long. You've got half an hour if you do decide to wildcard. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. I'd be tempted to wildcard that, Dennis. But you would normally want more than 30 minutes to decide a wildcard. And I obviously can't sit here and give you all of the best advice for that. So it's up to you. If you're going to make a transfer, I would probably sell... I'd probably sell Fulkrug, but you're not going to have any money, are you? So you can't do that. Maybe you do something like Brennan Johnson down to King and Fulkrug up to someone. Either Nilsson or João Pedro if you can get there. I don't know how much money you have in the bank and stuff, Dennis, but that's what I would do. On a free hit, João Pedro or Voltemade. I'd be tempted by Voltemade on a free hit, but probably still João Pedro is slightly better for me. Livramento or Cher or Burn. It sounds like the new team is correct. I would go Fabian Cher now. Fabian Cher could even take penalties. And he's just a monster, isn't he? He's got such a good long shot. He's good in the air. I'd probably go Fabian Cher. Stuck between Munoz and Tino, Lacroix and Porro on wildcard. On wildcard, I prefer... In fact, you could just go Tino and Lacroix and save some money. I don't mind Tino and Lacroix, Kieran, and save a bit of money, but probably the Munoz and Tino combo I prefer slightly more. Chris Tom says, Palmer/Watkins out, Haaland, Paquetá in. I wouldn't do that for a -4, no, Chris, if you're asking me. I wouldn't do that for free. I still think Palmer and Watkins are good assets. Watkins will start this week. I think Palmer will be back next week. Palmer could even play this week, by the way. I don't love that. If you're going to sell Palmer anyway, then maybe you do use that as the opportunity to get Haaland. I'll leave it at your discretion. Chris says, good morning. Play Wood or do Sarr to Kudus? I'd probably do Sarr to Kudus if it's for free. If it's for a hit, just play Wood. Rage LYNSB says, free hit, best group of 3. Petrovic, Munoz, Ekatike. Vicario, Lacroix, Ekatike. Pope, Lacroix, Ekatike. Petrovic, Lacroix, Gyökeres. I would go Pope, Lacroix, Ekatike was my initial thought when I looked at that. I would captain Salah slightly ahead of Haaland, but I think it's close. What is the chances of Wood starting? like 95%. No, I'm not 100% because he did have to travel a while. And obviously Ange taking over, but I'd say pretty good. Do you have any Arsenal leaks? No, I'm not. And in fact, I hope I don't get any. I'm done with team leaks. I'm considering Eze on free hit. I mean, could take the risk. Madueke is probably slightly safer. But yeah, I don't have any Arsenal leaks, sadly. If I do get any, I'll still share them, but I just hope I don't get any. Best long-term midfielder to pick below 6 million. Paquetá or Dewsbury Hall or Josh King. If you need the funds, Josh King. If you need a little bit less funds, Dewsbury Hall. If you need even less than that, then you could go Paquetá at 5.9 million. Do you know who's on penalties from Brighton? Do you think Ruta is now? I would probably, yeah, now. I mean, we thought he was anyway, but I probably would say Jorginho Ruta would be on pens. Obviously, if Welbeck's not playing. Because if Welbeck plays, then I think Welbeck could take the pen. Is Haaland triple captain worth a punt in over triple captain in game week 6? I much prefer triple captain Haaland against Burnley than I do United, personally. Andreas says, Sar to Kudus now, or Sar Ekatike to Dewsbury Hall Isak in a week or two. That does feel a little bit better, doesn't it? Yeah. I would maybe wait, but it depends. Like, if you're not starting Sar this week, Andreas, who are you starting instead? If you've got a decent sub to cover, I would probably leave it and offer yourself the option to go and get Isak. Direct Doors UK says, can I improve this? Okay, I've got your team. Not massively, no. Not really, no. Great team. I mean, like I say, Eze is a slight risk, but maybe a risk worth taking. It's a really strong free hit, Direct Doors. I assume that's a free hit. If it's a wild card, it maybe looks a bit free hitty, but I also don't hate it. Yeah, so it's a nice team. Mr. Martin says, hello, my mate. Forced into a free hit. Okay, let's look at that free hit then. Lovely team. Iwobi's an interesting one. I'm not sure about the Iwobi pick, but if you like Iwobi, go for it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to criticize that too much at all. I'm trying to think if there's anywhere I would improve it. I mean, defense looks a bit weak. Like, it would be nice to get Cucurella, Gabriel, Munoz, Van Dijk. Like, that is a very cheap defense. I wonder if you can take a bit of money out of the attack and just make that defense a bit stronger would be the only way that okay. The cheap defense I don't love, and Iwobi and Grealish are the two that I wouldn't have on a free hit, but I can understand why you'd have them. I don't want to put you off your picks too much, because all I'm going to be doing is just changing it to the free hit that I would build, and you don't want to do that, I don't think. I'm done doing a 17-hour shift tomorrow, #manager. Good luck with your 17-hour shift. The longest shift I've ever done is about 14, 15 hours, and that's pretty rough. Start Palmer or Reinders? Reinders, because I just don't think Palmer gets significant minutes. Mao says, hey bro, hello. Please rate my wildcard. Also, King or Reinders to start. I would start Reinders ahead of King. I think this is a good game for Tijani Reinders. It's a lovely wildcard, yeah. Strong defence. Actually, in fact, not the strongest defence, is it? But you've got Haaland and Salah and Ekatike and Mateta and Gakpo. I think it's a little weak in the defence, but they're also good picks. Like Richard Senesi, Van de Ven are fine. Yeah, I like it. I can't see your bench, obviously, is the only concern, but it's a nice team now. I'm not going to say anything to put you off hugely, because I think the cheap defenders that you've chosen are quite nice. Crinidal says, Njai and Giu out for Semenyo and Mateta -4, or just bring Semenyo for free and play Wood. Njai and Giu out for Semenyo and Mateta, or just bring Semenyo for free. I don't love selling Njai, but yes, I wouldn't take the hit. If you're going to sell Njai, just do Njai to Semenyo. But I would be tempted to keep Njai and do something else. But yeah, it's easy for me to say I don't have him. Start Wirtz, Reinders, or Rodgers. I would start... How many do you need to start? One? I assume you need to bench one. I'd bench Reinders from those, but I would start Wirtz if you're only starting one. What are your thoughts on Ruta as a long-term pick? I actually quite like Ruta as a long-term pick, yeah. Giu to Wood for a -4 or play Williams. I'd just play Williams. I wouldn't buy Wood for a -4 this week, Alexander. Rishab says, hey Ross, would you play Reinders against our leaky United defence or Wood against the best defence in the league? I would play Reinders again over Wood. Yeah, Reinders over Wood. Hope this is a big green arrow for you. Best of luck. Thank you very much, Rashab. I appreciate that. Van der Ven Sanchez or Vicario Tosin? Van der Ven Sanchez. Gakpo or Semenyo on wildcard? So I prefer Semenyo to Gakpo, and I would probably go for Van der Ven and Sanchez as a combo. For the next two, Lacroix and Paquetá or Richards and Kudus. Just for the next two, probably Richards and Kudus. Longer term, Lacroix and Paquetá is probably the slightly better combo. MMM says, Raptor the GOAT. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Your thoughts, please, for the next few weeks. Okay, I've got your team. What do I think? I think the defense is very weak. Porro's great. Murillo next week is fantastic. Juve de Cowper Stev as a combo I don't love. Midfield looks super strong. Love the attack. I think if you've got a transfer to use at some point, it's probably changing one of Juve or de Cowper out. Because as much as I like them at the start of the season, I think the players like Senesi and Anderson, Richards seem a little bit better. Who is the better 4.5, Richards or Anderson this game week and beyond? Probably Joaquim Anderson, I would say. Yeah, I'd go Anderson over Richards. Consa versus Keane. My only headache this week. Consa. I should just note, by the way, guys, if you missed it at the start of the stream, very brief one, I'm giving away a Premier League jersey of choice to one person after the stream. I'll post about it on X. All you need to do is download Club and join my league. That is it. There'll be links down below to download. My league will be down below as well. I'll quickly grab it. It's basically free to play fantasy football. As I keep saying, I'm in the game, so it's not just something I'm just promoting for the sake of it. I'm a shareholder within the company that created this as well, so I'm heavily involved in the project. All you need to do is join my league. So the code is 3462SK7. Download Club for free. Join my league. Hopefully play and enjoy it, but if not, just do that, and you're in for the chance for winning a Premier League jersey of choice. So yeah, definitely give it a go. And yeah, massive shout out to Club. There's the link down below to download it. Whilst I remember. Dennis says, you know who I am. Wildcard 11. Okay, Vicario Munoz, Gay, Calafiori, Semenyo, Gakpo, Kudus, Grealish, Gyökeres, Haaland, João Pedro. Bench of Porro, Goodmanson, Reinders. I like the team. Don't love the Calafiori pick in the long term. I think Lewis Skelly will get minutes. So Calafiori to Cucurella. If you can get Calafiori to Cucurella somehow, even if it's downgrade Grealish to Dewsbury Hall, I would. Calafiori up to Cucurella and Vicario to Raya. Vicario to Raya, Calafiori to Cucurella, and I would downgrade Grealish to fund that. And I think you've got a very strong team overall. Posh says, start Guiu or a -4 to play Sar's replacement. In that case, I'd take a -4 and I'd get Semenyo. Someone just asked if I'm already in the club league. So if you're already in my club league, then you are already automatically entered. So even if you joined my club league months ago, you still have a chance to win the Premier League jersey. That would be a bit unfair if you didn't, I guess. It would be sad if it was just new people. So yeah, if you're already in my club league, then you're fine. Should I bench Wood this week due to international duty travel? That wouldn't be the reason. The reason would be because he's playing Arsenal. I wouldn't stress about Wood having to travel a long way. We've seen in the past that he's done perfectly fine before. By the way, last season he was actually benched after a lot of travel. So there is a chance, but in fact, wasn't it against Arsenal? Didn't Chris Wood get benched against Arsenal last year after international duty? Am I making that up? Anyway, there's a chance, but I think Wood's minutes will be fine, would be my guess. Hi, Ross. On a free hit, Voltemade and Van Dijk or Ekatike and Fabian Schär? I think Ekatike and Schär looks better to me. Rage LYNSB says, what do you think of my free hit 11? I think it's very nice. Yeah, I like that. Nice team. Again, I think Senesi isn't the best pick on a free hit, because I think there are other defenders that I like slightly more. I even prefer Anderson against Leeds, but he's also been fantastic so far this season, so I can't criticise it. It's a great team. I guess Dewsbury Hall. Okay, if it was my team, I would go Senesi to another player and Dewsbury Hall to King. I'd rather King than Dewsbury Hall, I think, this week, just due to the fixture. Nikolai says, what are your thoughts? Thank you very much for the support, by the way, Nikolai. One transfer, 2.1 in the bank, holding out for an Isak swap. Okay, so you need to leave yourself to get to Ekatike. So you need to leave that kind of money. So you don't want to spend too much of it. I don't think you need a transfer, mate. It's a lovely team. Yeah, it's a really nice team. That front three, Haaland, João Pedro, Ekitike. Lovely stuff. It almost looks like a free hit draft, that. Munoz captain is crazy work. I would captain Haaland over Munoz, but I hope Munoz does well enough to be a good captain. Yeah, I think that's a nice team, mate. Nothing to do there. Just keep it as it is. And big love. How long we got? We've got 15 minutes till the deadline, by the way. 15 minutes. 3 times Villa. Njai, Pedro, Wood. Would you wildcard / free hit or leave? João Pedro's great. 3 Villa are fine. Wood is fine from next week. And Njai, I think, from next week's fine. I need to see the rest of your team be 1, 2, 3. But that doesn't look like a wildcard or free hit to me, just based off that. Sell Watkins for Mateta and Cole out for Semenyo. I wouldn't sell Watkins for Mateta, no. I think Watkins is fine this week. I just realised, is my captaincy thing not rotating? I've just seen that. Oh, and Shazam told me that anyway. Sorry, Shazam. I'd completely missed that. My captaincy ranking's not been rotating. I've been telling people to keep looking at that, and it's not been. Anyway, now it will rotate between projected points and captaincy. So that is my captaincy ranking. I'm sorry that's not been there the whole time. So Salah against Burnley with my favourite, then Haaland, then Gyökeres, then I think Mateta, Ekitike, Gakpo, Wirtz, João Pedro are all very, very close. But yeah, Haaland and Gyökeres, if you don't want to go for Salah, would be my favourites. Start Njai or Reinders. In that case, I'll just start Reinders, Jason. Shrikar has sent me their team. Wildcard team. Okay. I like the defence. I don't like Konsa, actually. I wouldn't have Konsa in a wildcard. I would have Richards over Konsa. I would have Anderson over Konsa. Salah, Kudus, Paquetá, Gakpo, Mateta, Jabadran. Really nice team. Yeah, the only change I would make there is potentially just to take Konsa out. I'm not a big fan of the Konsa pick. My plan is Isak in for Mateta by downgrading Gakpo. Love that plan. Love the team, love the plan, love the structure. It's looking really nice, Srikar. Do we have any Arsenal team news? Oh, I hope not. Let me see if I can find anything. Goodness me. Team news just isn't worth the stress, is it? The amount of abuse that you receive. Right. Can I find anything? Right. I haven't seen anything. Oh, yes. Someone reported this, by the way. There isn't a bug on the app. Be really careful. Apparently, if you make a transfer, it doesn't reduce your transfers. So let's say you have 1 free transfer. Apparently, if you make a transfer, it still says 1 free transfer on the app. That is not giving you unlimited transfers. It's just a bug in terms of what it's showing you. So what I would do is make the transfers on the website. Don't make them on the app. Or if you've made them on the app, check on the website, because it's not just going to give you unlimited transfers. So I think it's just a bug. And by the way, what a terrible bug to have, because people, even experienced managers, will just think, oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I had more transfers than I thought. You know, like it'd be very careful. I've seen a few people say that to me. Sim told me. I've just seen Lazy FPL posted it as well. Be very careful if you're making loads of transfers thinking you have more than you do. If you go on the website and go into transfer history, I'll try to show you where that is. Where is it? Not game week history, it's a little bit lower, isn't it? Is it all the way down? Transfer history. It will say here how many transfers you've made, and it will list it as well. You can see that I made the Munoz move at 12:37 yesterday, but if you go onto transfer history, it will list the transfers you've made. So far, I've done Palmer to Kudus, Fulkrug to Mateta, and Juve to Munoz. I should have just started with my Crystal Palace boys in Game Week 1. We know how much I love them. We know how much I love my Crystal Palace boys. Ekitike and Caicedo or Gakpo and Beto? Neither. Ekitike and King, Ekitike and Dewsbury Hall. I prefer that combo probably. Beto is a no-go for me. Not to say that he won't start and do well. I don't feel it. So I would go for the Ekitike and cheap midfielder route, but not Caicedo. At the moment, it's Porro, Cher, and Munoz. I can get Cucurella in there, and then we get ×2 amount of chips this year. Yeah, you get 2 times chips. You get another set of chips in the back half of the season. From game week 20 onwards, you get the second lot of chips. I think you can leave it as it is. I think if you were to get Cucurella in, it would be instead of Porro. I think Fabian Schär and Munoz are good picks. Dennis said, love the changes you said. I do have 1.2 million in the bank, so I can technically change Reinders to Grealish as well. Is it worth it with Dewsbury Hall and Grealish? Have 2.1, well, sorry, 1.2 in the bank, so I can technically change Reinders to Grealish as well. No, I would maybe just keep the money in the bank, Dennis. It's not a bad thing to have money in the bank with some of the moves coming up that we might want to make. Just keep the money. Rodon comes in for Njai. Should I do a -4 for Sarr to Semenyo? Maybe in that case then, yeah. It sounds like you're a bit threadbare. Maybe I would make the moves there. Yeah, not normally would I suggest a hit, but I kind of feel like in that team potentially. Is this your final team? It is likely to be my final team unless we get some crazy news in the next 10 mins. And yes, you do have 10 mins till the deadline. That is your warning. Less than 10 minutes. Any suggestions? Rich, okay, I've got your team... Pratyush, sorry, I was thinking how to pronounce your name, have 3 free transfers and on the bench Palmer, Guiu, Rodon, trying to avoid a transfer. I don't think you need a transfer, my friend. I mean, your defence is a bit weak. Murillo and Juve aren't great, but if you don't want to use a transfer, don't use a transfer. You could even start Rodon ahead of Murillo if you wanted to. Yeah, I don't think you need a transfer, but I will say that I think you could maybe benefit from a transfer. But as to which transfer that would be, you'd probably need to sell Palmer to free up the funds. So yeah, maybe just leave it as it is, mate. It's not a bad team at all. Agnibar Gosh says, hi Ross, taking a -4 this week. Okay, I've got your team. How would you rate it? Very nice. I mean, Sells is maybe the only pick that I don't like there. And in fact, Sells is fine moving forward, so he's not a bad pick. I really like that team, Agnibar. Yeah, I'm slightly jealous. I think your defense looks really strong. I like the Rodgers pick this week. I think he's still underrated. Cucurella is fantastic. It's a nice team. Martin says, play Njai or Guiu. I'd play Njai, bench Guiu. If you've got 6.2 million in the bank, though, just do Guiu to Gyökeres, João Pedro, Mateta. I would absolutely upgrade Guiu if I had the money. Play Wood, Van der Ven, or Paquetá. Thanks. You're welcome, Simon. I would play Paquetá, I think, out of those options. Hi, Ross. Would you start King or Reinders? That's a tough one. I'd go Reinders, probably. I think it's a good matchup for him. Judo Keith says, Ross Bald, love God. Ross Bald, love God. Had 2 wildcards. Okay. Right, I've got your team. I'm trying to work out what that first bit meant. Right, so you've said... Haaland to Isak in a few weeks to spread the money elsewhere. Any changes? I mean, I probably wouldn't do that. I'll just keep Haaland. But anyway, on your wildcard, what would I change about this team? It's actually a really strong defence, isn't it? Really nice midfield. Mate, that's a great team. It's a fantastic team. Yeah, love it. Love it, Jude. No, I wouldn't change anything, I don't think. I mean, you could potentially spread the risk a little bit. Rather than Richards, you could go for an Anderson or something. But I mean, no, it's a really nice team. Help, no Salah, no Haaland. Would you free hit? I need to see the rest of your team. Do you not want one of Salah or Haaland moving forward? If so, maybe a transfer or a wildcard is better. If you don't really need Salah and Haaland moving forward and you just want them for this week, then yes, free hit. My concern would be, surely you go into game week 5 and think, I'd quite like Salah or Haaland. So maybe using transfers makes a bit more sense. 7 million for a midfielder. Who do I pick? Xavi Simons, maybe. Xavi Simons could be cheeky. Kudus. You could even go for Morgan Rogers. You could go for Paquetá. You could go for King and save loads of money. Loads of options. Depends what your rest of your team looks like. Even Tijani Reinders isn't a bad pick. I even like Enzo Fernandez. I like Pedro Neto. I like Harvey Elliott. There are tons of midfielders that you could go out there and get. None that are massive standouts, though, outside of Semenyo, who's obviously too expensive for you. Joshua says, hi, Ross. Team as follows. Would you recommend any changes? Sanchez, Dubravka. Okay. Juve, Van der Ven, Porro, Williams, Estev, Reinders, Semenyo, Fernandez, Vert, Salah, Watkins, Wood, Guiu. I don't know how many transfers you have and how much money you have in the bank, Joshua, but I guess my initial instinct is that team doesn't need a transfer, but you've got a slightly weak defence this week, and obviously Wood and Guiu as 2 of your strikers isn't ideal. So if you are going to use a transfer, it's to upgrade Guiu if you have any money, or to maybe replace Juve with a better 4.5 defender, or replace Williams with Lacroix. Other than that, no, you don't need to make a transfer there, Joshua. Ben says, Wood or Reinders? I'd play Reinders. Do you have any leaks? No, I can check again, though. Let's check if anyone else has sent me a DM with the team. No, I don't have anything, sadly. Oh, God. I accidentally kicked on Grok conversation. No. Arsenal are unfortunately traditionally not a team that have many team leaks. I would say probably no. I would bank on we're not going to get a team leak. If you want to go for an Arsenal attacker, obviously Gyökeres is the one. I do think, and I could be massively off, I'm not an Arsenal fan. Let me know in the chat if you are. I think Madueke is slightly safer than Eze for minutes. Do you have to have a few screws loose to play FPL? Yeah, probably. I think we're all a little bit crazy at this point. And by the way, if you're enjoying this stream, I will carry on streaming after the deadline, but please do consider subscribing for sort of future streams and content. I appreciate it. MJM says, hi Ross, I bought in the Bournemouth lads, but now with the Alanga news, he is benched and I'm starting Damsgaard anyway. Maybe it's a sign that he's going to return. I hope so, mate. I hope so. I mean, I've got Sanchez, so I don't hope so. But if Brentford do score, I very much hope it's Damsgaard for you. João Pedro, Haaland or Salah captain? I would say, I mean, my captaincy ranking will rotate top left. I would say Salah, Haaland, João Pedro in that order. Who to start, De Kalpa, Juve or Milenkovic? Maybe De Kalpa. Maybe Kalpa. Watkins or Rodgers to start? If you're going to only start one, it has to be Watkins. But I would ideally like to start both of them. Omkar says, I did Palmer, Nico Williams, Larson to Semenyo, João Pedro, Lacroix. Big thumbs up. Yeah, I mean, I don't love selling Palmer because I think next week he's a great asset moving forward. But those three coming in are fantastic, Omkar. I like him. Start Ruter or Dewsbury Hall? Ooh, Ruter. Ruter could be on pens. Start Senesi or Anderson? If that's Fulham Anderson. If it's Forest Anderson, I'd start Senesi. Wood or Dewsbury Hall? Ooh, Dewsbury Hall. Who are your best mates in the FPL land? Well, in terms of content creators, it would be FPL Pickle, and then Harry and Oscar. In terms of non-content creators, FPL Pickle. She's my best friend. No cap spam, thank you. Yeah, try not to spam with caps. I do apologize if I've never read one of your messages, by the way. I say this every week, but I feel very bad that I can't answer everyone's questions. What are your thoughts on Salah triple captain? Don't mind it at all. Don't mind it at all. Go for it if you want to. Douglas says, who to bench, Eze, Wood or Alanga? Ooh, tough one. Tough one. Probably Alanga with the news that it sounds like he's on the bench. Probably Alanga. It wouldn't be Eze, because if Eze does start, he's the best of the three. It would be Alanga or Wood, Douglas. I'd probably lean at Alanga. But I also think you could get away with just benching Chris Wood because he's got the trickiest fixture. Oh no, my YouTube's just frozen. Oh no. Okay, I think we're back. Oh goodness, that is really laggy. Why is YouTube doing that? Oh, it's crashed and everything. I think the stream's still going though. It looks good on OBS's side. Right, that's better. We hear. Not a great time to crash. You've got less than 2 minutes till the deadline. Sorry for a terrible time to crash the stream. We're still here though. We're still here. Right. You've got just over a minute till the deadline. I would get your teams locked in. I always like to just do a little refresh. I would just do a little refresh on your team and make sure that you've actually got the bench order how you want it, got your vice captain and captain sorted, stuff like that. If you've got a chip active, make sure the chip is active. If you don't have a chip active, make sure that you don't have a chip active by accident. Just make sure you've got everything sorted in this final minute. Do some sort of FPL hygiene with your team. Just make sure it's all good. King or Ahmad to start? Oh, probably King. Probably King. Will Donnarumma play? It's a tough one. I actually don't know the answer to that. I would guess maybe yes. Maybe come straight in. Senesi or Richards? I have Munoz already. On a free hit, still Richards. On a wild card, I'd go Senesi. Sunderland's scoring is going to ruin every FPL creator's life. I kind of expect them to score as well, which is crazy. Because I brought in Munoz. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, Sunderland have scored. It'll be like, yeah, fair. Fair. I could see it happening. Start Palmer or Njai? Oof, probably Cole Palmer, just about. Have you taken a -4 for Munoz? No, that was for free. It was for free. You haven't predicted a draw in any of your fixtures. Oh, wow, I didn't realise that. No, I have. Fulham Leeds. Fulham Leeds, 1 draw. But yeah, there's probably going to be more draws than that, I'd say. Right, that is it. deadline done. I want to quickly tweak my team as I always do, which takes me longer than it should. And then, yeah, then we'll just get back to answering your questions. All right. Tweet. I've just seen the news, by the way. I missed that, but apparently 8 Nuri's out for 5 weeks. So yeah, I hope you sold 8 Nuri if you have him. If not, you'll have to sell him next week. Why is my phone being weird? Let me highlight all the text. Oh, Twitter, you're getting on my nerves. There we go. Right, good team. Post. Right. Yeah, I'm definitely not tweeting earlier. I can't be bothered with the stress. It's not worth it. Right. I should also post on Instagram. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're watching this right now, can you do me a favor? Can you follow me on Instagram? I'd really appreciate it. It's just FPL__Raptor. I create loads of short form content over there, by the way, often posting on my stories as well. Is that link going to work? I think it will. If not, it's just at FPL__Raptor. Just give me a little follow. Sorry, the 3 comments killed me. Someone said so needy. Next person said nah. And then the next person said nope, I'm good. You guys make me laugh. You make me laugh. Or if you're a northerner, you make me laugh. You know? And I will say that the correct thing to say is laugh, not laugh. So if you say laugh, you're just wrong. You're just wrong. Okay, fine, but stop begging. No, please follow me. Please be my friends. Friends. What is that? Why is the text blue? Oh, my social media is just not having a good day. Why is text blue? If I post that, will the text be blue? Blue Sky's got blue text now. Is that a thing? Or is that just my phone bugging out? I don't even know what's happening. No, it's not blue. I can't believe Juve goes and delivers me a 10-pointer, and then I just sell him. I'm just like, no, don't want the 10-pointer. Oh, friends. FPL friends. Didn't hear anything from FPL Pickle today. Looks like she is busy. Pickle, you okay? You okay? I know. Canadians also say laugh. Do they, Claudette? Okay, maybe it's correct then. We don't want to upset the Canadians. I wanted to post it on my Instagram, didn't I? Then I'm done. Then I'm answering your questions. Goodness me, so much to do, eh? So much to do. Right, post, team. Game week 4 team. I did Juve to Munoz, 1 free transfer. Goodness me, too many social platforms, you know? There we go. I don't even like social media as well. I don't even like social media. João Pedro benched? I doubt it. I mean, it's not until the game's not until 8 PM anyway, so no one will know yet. I hate Instagram personally. I'll be honest, and I know this is a weird thing for me to say, I would not use social media if I wasn't a content creator. I would delete every single app. And I recommend you probably do the same. Like, I don't think it's healthy. I don't want to be on there. I don't like social media. If I was not a content creator, I wouldn't be on there. And I suppose Twitter's useful to get information on FPL as much as anything. So maybe I would still have an account, but right, sorry. Yeah, I don't like it. I just think like I don't want to waste my time being on there, you know? I don't actually use social media for much outside of getting information. I'm not someone that sits there all day sort of scrolling on it because it's just killing my brain. I'm just slowly ruining my brain. Yeah, I don't see YouTube as social media. If you do, then fair. I see it more as like an entertainment. So yeah. How much left over in the bank after that transfer? I've got 1.1 million in the bank. 1.1 million in the bank after that transfer. Not going to lie, I started club last week and it's so fun. Oh, guys, please enter the giveaway. I'm giving away a Premier League jersey to someone. Let me put that on charge and I'll connect again. I just need to do... Right, there we go. All you need to do to enter the giveaway is, and we're going to do more giveaways throughout the season, by the way, is join my club mini league. There will be the link down below so use the link down below to join club. Once you've used the link down below, all you have to do is join the league via that code 3462SK7, and then, yeah, it's fine. If you're already in the league, you are already entered. So if you're already like, I'm playing club, loving club, which so many people have said, that's fantastic. You're already entered. Someone just asked, where was it? Is it not too late to enter club? No, because it's week to week. It's weekly head-to-head. And even if you look at the league, by the way, the league will be structured based on who got the highest score in the game week. So it's weekly head-to-head. This week, I'm playing against... Oh, my God, that's a good team. Oh, my God, he's won his first 4 games as well. Matlock Gladiator I'm playing. What a team. This is my team for this week. Yeah. I got Salah on loan because I just wanted him. But otherwise, I've got Watkins on the bench. Oh, I've got Alanga in my 11. I didn't see. Alanga's in my 11. I'm glad I spotted that. Let me get Alanga out then. Okay, that's good, because I didn't really want to bench Watkins. Okay, I think we're good. Rest of the defence, we should start fine. A good Newcastle ITK account just said that Tior starts. Oh, for goodness sake. Have I got it wrong twice, the line? I'm not bothering in the future. Will the jersey be shipped internationally? It will be shipped to whoever wins it. Yeah. So we're not going to only do it for you. I mean, it may be, in fact, it's likely it will be someone from the UK, given how many people play from the UK. But no, we will ship it internationally if that's what is required. Yeah, I hate giveaways where they're only for the UK. So if someone wins from a different country, they will win it. If you want to join Pickles League, by the way, there you go. This is... That's Pickles League. If you want to join another FPL League, feel free to do so. I can't meet with Manny, can I? No, I'm way off. And I don't have any gems. Right. Back we go. So who has now said that something else... I don't even know what's happening. I don't know. Apparently the first one might have been correct. This is why it's just not worth it, is it? I have no idea. I'm just gonna just take a day off from social media. I think's best. You should see the DMs you get when you get team news wrong as well. They're pretty vile. So I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of the two. I'm really sorry. Apparently people... I don't have a clue now. Apparently people have sold Alanga. It's not going... Who's posted the... What was the account? Is Pickle beating you? I think I'm actually slightly beating her. What account has posted new stuff? The Little Mans. Thanks, guys. I mean, not that it matters now. The deadline's gone. I'll just own it. I forgot that I was streaming. I was just. That's how you know you're comfortable streaming. I was just sending a tweet and I completely forgot. I hate this stuff because like you feel like you can't win. Like I say. Yeah, we'll see. Sorry, guys. No idea. You look like a PA. People just say you wanted attention. I don't know how to say this without sounding like a massive knob, basically, for want of a better word. I don't need more attention. In fact, I'd like less attention. Like I feel like when I've got 200,000 followers, I don't need any more followers. Like it doesn't help me at all. In fact, this will harm me. Loads of people will unfollow me as a result. So yeah, it sounds like a bit of a knob thing to say, but I'm not. It's not like I've got like 3,000 followers and I'm like trying to grow my account and like improve my like. I'm in a position now where I don't need to risk it. I just want to share stuff. I would feel so bad if that team shared was correct and I didn't share it. You know what I mean? It's just there's not a nice position to be in. People think content creators have it easy when they get given team news, but it's like what do you do with that? What did I do wrong? I just shared team news that was either like I shared team news yesterday, which I got told this morning was incorrect. Tried to correct the team news, and now I'm getting told that the original team news might have been correct. Not good. It is what it is. Most people are really sweet. Like, yeah, not ideal. Right. So honestly, it now sounds like the original one was correct. And I'm so sorry if you benched a Langar or bought share on free hit. It's just one of those things. In fact, you'd probably be better off just not ever looking at team leaks. Yeah. Anyway, more questions that are not about team leaks would be lovely. Anything non-FPL? If you want to ask anything non-FPL, that works. But yeah, I was in Brighton all of last week. I'll share that actually because that was really interesting. So I was at the Amex Stadium. It was a 2-day conference called ESAN, which is like a skill acquisition thing, which is basically like sports psychology. And the assistant manager for Brighton, or the assistant head coach, can't remember who it is. What was his name? I forgot his name. He was giving a speech anyway, and Fabian Hertzler just rocked up and watched him. It was so cool. So Fabian Hertzler was sat at the table next to us, just watching his friend and fellow coach do this presentation. It was so interesting. It was so interesting. The weather was horrifying. The weather was horrifying. Like, it was so rainy. If you live in Brighton, I don't know how you part of the weather like that. That was obscene. When are you using your chips? I'm looking at wildcard 13 free hit 6 at the moment, but I also quite like wildcard 6 or 7 and then free hit like 14, something like that. I think I'll use a free hit or wildcard around 6 or 7, and then I'll use the other chip later on. Oh, the lineups are out in 1 minute. They are. What got you started into being a shareholder with Club? So I played Club for like probably like 5 or 6 months. Because someone just said, do you want to try it? It was like beta testing. It was closed at that point. And so I tried Club out and I just loved it. And I played it and I played it and I played it. And the guys that created Club found out that I was playing it, asked me to get involved. So I got involved on a more sort of official, formal basis, with a contract, like actually promoting the game. And then at the end of last year, the guys that created Club said, would you like to be a shareholder within the company? And obviously I absolutely would. So yeah, I might even start investing myself soon as well, which would be pretty cool. So yeah, I just think it's great. Again, I wouldn't get that heavily involved if I didn't think it was fantastic. What am I doing? Arsenal. Eze does start, as does Madueke at least. Timber, Mosquera. So Saliba's not been risked. I think everyone starts that you would expect. So Eze does get his start. So if you took the punt, great. If you went for Madueke instead, that's fine. But yeah, Gyökeres starts at least. Timber and Calafiori definitely look first choice at the moment if you wanted to take a punt on one. And then I assume Chris Wood starts. Apologies, but we'll just double check. Is that a back five? Oh, no Declan Rice. Oh my goodness, how did I not spot that? You know, sometimes when you just look at it and it's like, yeah, Declan Rice on the bench. Oh my God, you know, you just look at the team, you're like, yeah, that looks nice. Yeah, Marino in midfield instead of Declan Rice. Wow. Interesting. Sorry, back to Forest then. Is that a back five? Or is that a back four with Morato at... What am I looking at? Anderson, Gibbs, White, Hudson-Odoi, and Doyle-Wood, Sangare. No, it's a back four, Morato left back. I think that's a back four. Unless they're playing Ndoye as a wing back. But no, I would say Morato left back, right? Yeah, it looks that way. Yeah, Morato left back. Okay. He can play left back. I think throughout his career, he's played at left back quite a few times. I do agree, though. Like, you've got three centre-backs here. You could see Williams at right wing-back or left wing-back and Hudson-Odoi or Ndoye as the other wing-back. But then you're playing a front... No, I think it's probably a four at the back. Izzy Gaming says, don't worry about the hate, Ross. It's not on you, and leaks have always have risk with them. On that note, I benched Elanga, so I get a free jersey? Oh, God, I'm so sorry. What a nightmare. I did think it was so weird that Elanga was on the bench. I also thought it was really weird that the guy got it wrong. Because like I say, he's got the entire team right on multiple occasions. So I was like, I didn't understand it. I should have just not tweeted and should have just left the first tweet up. Oh, well. Could Eze be a future transfer? We need to see how he gets on. We need to see how many minutes he plays. If he plays 90 minutes, then maybe. I love Ross saying I'm big time already. I'm not big time at all. It's just like, I don't care if I get an extra... If this says 201,000 rather than 200,000, like, it doesn't bother me. Or if I get an extra 500 subscribers, but it's just not worth the stress. I have really bad anxiety anyway. I mean, you might know this anyway by the way that I speak and stuff, but I suffer with really bad anxiety. So the last thing I need is stress over team news. But then, like I say, because I have such bad anxiety, I suffer from overthinking. So I'm then like, well, if I don't share the news, then it turns out to be correct. And then someone says that I got them. Do you know what I mean? Like, my mind is just going at like a million miles an hour. So it's like, yeah. It's not great for someone with anxiety, but it is what it is, you know. Is Harvey Barnes starting? Apparently, yes. Apparently, yes. Yeah. Igor Jesus was not in the squad. Oh, was he not? That's good for Wood's minutes moving forward. Yeah, he's not. That's a good point, actually. Good luck this season, Ross. Off to the gym. Be here again next stream. Best of luck at the gym. Hope it goes well. I'm glad people are relating to the anxiety overthinking combo. Why is Chunks in your cover photo? I think it's a cool photo. No other reason. I think it's a cool photo. Chunks is my boy as well. I need an updated picture with Storms as well. I would put the picture of me in there, but I looked terrible in the pictures with Storms, so Chunks it is. Is Harry panicking over his -4 in the freemium group chat? Shall I see if Harry said anything? Harry's not commented at all in the freemium group chat. If you're interested. Was/is anxiety a reason for your passion in psychology? No, probably not. No. I wouldn't say so. But it's interesting. Why everybody these days has anxiety? It's like everywhere. I do think the world is just in such a way where anxiety is going to be more prevalent. I also think that a lot of people in the past would have had anxiety, but it wouldn't have had a label and they wouldn't have been able to identify it. Like in the 1930s or something, if you had anxiety, you wouldn't have spoke about it or even thought about it. You would have just thought that was kind of like normal. So I think because mental health is getting spoken about so much now, it's maybe more easily identifiable that you have anxiety because you know what the term is and you know what that looks like. So yeah. Who is the most famous person you've ever met? I could do a little bit of bragging here. So when I was younger, there's something called the Manchester United soccer school, something like that, where basically there's loads of regional competitions across the world where you do little challenges like passing, skills, keepy ups, and everyone that wins their regional competition gets entered into this sort of soccer school that goes on for about a week. And I think it ranged from like age 11 to age 16, and I was 12 at the time, I think. It was roughly those ages. Anyway, there were 3,500 regional winners across 54 different countries. So 3,000 of the best footballers across the world that entered this thing. I finished second, and I was only 12. And the guy that finished first was 15. And there was absolutely no, what's the word I'm looking for? There was no handicap for being younger or older. So basically, I was just going up against people that were older than me. Anyway, I finished second. The reason I bring this up is as part of it, I got to meet Sir Alex Ferguson and Cristiano Ronaldo. So probably Sir Alex Ferguson and Cristiano Ronaldo would be the two most famous people. Other than that, honestly, the most famous person I've sat down and had a chat with is Stormzy. And I am very lucky to call Stormzy a friend. So that would be the most famous person I know well. But the most famous person I've met is probably Cristiano Ronaldo. And by the way, at the time, this was when Ronaldo... I was 12. So what year would this have been? I think I was 12. So I would at 2009. Was Ronaldo still at Man United in 2009? I should know this. Man United years. 2009. So yeah, it was towards the back end of him being at Man United. But his English wasn't perfect. No, I think I wouldn't. It wasn't. I think it might have been 2007 or 8. I don't know how old I was. Maybe I was like 10. Anyway, it was when Ronaldo's English wasn't perfect. He just shook my hand and said hello. But Sir Alex stopped and had a bit of a chat with us. So I didn't really speak to Ronaldo. It was just a handshake, basically. But yeah, Sir Alex was super cool. Did you get pictures? No. So, do you know what? Can I find the picture? How would I be able to find this picture? Let me see if I can find the picture. So I got my award presented at half-time. Actually, the award was presented by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But because it was at half-time, I saw Sir Alex and Ronaldo as they were coming through the tunnel at half-time. So it was a very quick, because obviously they needed to get back to the changing rooms. But let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I'll be able to, I'll be honest. I'm just thinking, would I've... Give me a second. I'll see if I can find the pic. Where would I have uploaded this? It's annoying that I should really have this pic easily accessible, shouldn't I? I mean, it's a pretty cool thing to show, and I don't have it. I wonder if I've tweeted it at some point. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, I got it presented at halftime. Reinders is better than King. I think Reinders is like, oh, here we go. Perfect. Look, I must have been younger than I thought. I reckon I'm probably only like 9 or 10 there, aren't I? Maybe even like 8. That's Ollie. You can kind of see it's me, can't you? There we go. So, I finished second. The guy finished first. I think he was from Scotland. The guy that finished third was from like Argentina or something. But yeah, there's me getting my halftime award. You can see the stadium as well behind. And yeah, that's Ollie. That's cool. You can kind of see the resemblance. This is me. I'm glad I found it. Yeah, I tweeted it in 2021. You can kind of see my tweet there. I was bragging at the time. Manchester United Soccer School. That was what it was called. You get the picture. Oh, these are cool. I've got some pictures of when I played at Spurs as well. That's me at Spurs. There's another picture of me at Spurs. There's me. Yeah, I know. Once upon a time, I actually had hair. Look, there I am. Guys, wait. Let me. Oh, this is gonna be so funny to get up on the stream. 1 sec. Give me 2 seconds. You're gonna love this, chat. You're gonna love this. Where am I? Chat, you are gonna love this. Chat, you're gonna love this. This is just gonna be outing me completely about what I was good at and what I wasn't. Here we go. Here is my academy report from under 9s at Spurs. What do we make of it? It might be a bit small to read on a phone. So, running with the ball, I was rated at A. Dribbling and turning, I was rated as a bit... Okay. I've brought up my academy report from when I was... The reason the names are blacked out is because I uploaded this to Twitter and I didn't at the time have my full name. This was ages ago. So what was I not good at? What did I receive a D in? I received a D in 1 versus 1 defending. I received a D in strength, and that was it. What did I receive A's in? I received an A in running with the ball, short passing, acceleration, rapid, concentration, willingness to take on board constructive criticism. I was an angel. Training mentality and competitive mentality. Composure needed some work. Basically, I was really short, and I'm not short now. Oh, God. I was quick. I was a dribbler. Imagine like Ryan Giggs. I didn't do any skills. I was just very left-footed, really good winger, cross the ball in, stuff like that. Why is crossing not on here? If crossing was on here, I'd imagine it would have been an A. That was my best attribute, was crossing. I guess short passing would be crossing. Long passing was B. Yeah, I was a left winger. Yeah, mental attributes are very good, aren't they? That's good. My mental attributes aren't that good now. Jesus. Can you imagine? Yeah, I was tiny. I didn't receive any E's. I only received 2 D's as well. That sounds wrong. I received 2 D's. That's funny. There we go. We used to receive these every single year. So I played for Spurs from 7 till 15. So eight seasons I played for Spurs. Yeah, 15 years old. This is the only one that I could find, though. My mum sent it to me. I thought it was funny.
And that's the only one that she had at home?
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, they don't send reports like this. What you get is 5 hours of video footage where they analyse. But obviously, back in the day, I was 9, so that was 19 years ago. 19 years ago, they're not going to have loads of video footage for you. Strength was low. I think D was probably quite kind as well. I think the reason my strength wouldn't be E is because I had low center of gravity and I turned well. I sometimes didn't have to go shoulder to shoulder. But if I went shoulder to shoulder with anyone, I would have got yeeted. Did you say it was a knee issue that stopped you? It was just generally loads of injuries. Even when I play now, I tear a hamstring after 2 seconds. Yeah, I played football the other day at a thing called Toka Social, which is just kicking a ball at a screen, and I tore the tendons in both of the back of my knees. Yeah, they're all bruised and stuff. I'm not great. Did you play for anyone else? I played for Arsenal and Chelsea before Spurs. So I joined Spurs when I was 7. I played for Arsenal when I was 6, and in the period between Arsenal and Spurs, I trialled at Chelsea and Charlton, and QPR, Leyton Orient. There was a few clubs. I lived near London, obviously, hence why it was all London clubs. But anyway, there's a fun backstory for you. Is that the place in the Bullring? It is, Abby. Yeah. You're from Birmingham, fellow Brummie. Yeah, it's the place in the Bullring. It's really good, actually. We've done it a few times. You were quite good. Pickle had insane accuracy. You get the stats afterwards. Pickle kicks the ball at slightly lower speed, but the accuracy is very, very high.
Kind of pulled my quad again. I keep pulling my quad and it's so sad. The last time we played out, I couldn't even play. He just played alone because I absolutely injured myself.
How did you get into the academy? So the way you get into academy is through scouts. So you play for a Sunday League in the UK anyway. You play for a Sunday League team, and at every Sunday League tournament or a big game between 2 good teams, There'll be scouts. Like, if you look along, I would say on a normal Sunday league game, there'll be 3 or 4 scouts there from different clubs in the area. And luckily, when I got scouted for Spurs, it was at a tournament called Tonbridge. I don't actually know where Tonbridge is. Somewhere in the UK. I assume Tonbridge is the place. Tonbridge? I remember the tournament well, and I'll tell you why afterwards. It's a town in England. It's in Kent. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. They're not too far. So it was at a tournament called Tonbridge. It was the biggest tournament of the summer, and it was basically all of the best teams in that area, including the West Ham Academy, which I think, so it would have been under 7s then. Yeah, under 7s, or the start of under 7s. So West Ham Academy were there, the under 7s West Ham, and they were in the tournament. Anyway, I played for a team called Lakeview. We got to the final against West Ham, and anyway, we lost in the final to West Ham, sadly, but I won player of the tournament. And at the tournament, there was scouts for Chelsea and Spurs. So I think I got scouted by both at that tournament. I mean, naturally, if you're the player of the tournament, then other scouts will be interested. But yeah, that was how I got scouted at the Tonbridge tournament. And then from there, went to Spurs. Didn't really enjoy my time at Spurs, I'll be honest. I think it's the anxiety and stuff, but I just didn't enjoy like how it was so cutthroat. It was just really horrible. Like, I've got some bad stories from being at Spurs. I won't tell them all. It's actually pronounced Tunbridge. Sorry. I didn't realise. Tunbridge. No, I think it is Tonbridge. I think Tunbridge and Tonbridge are 2 different places. Anyway, I'll say Tunbridge. I'll trust you. But regardless, that was how I got scouted. So if you want your child to be scouted, not that I think it's necessarily a good thing, because I think it's not the best life for a child unless they make it, they need to play well at big tournaments at Sunday League level, and there will probably be a scout watching. All that they will do is they will come over afterwards to your parent with a card and say, we'd like you to come and trial, please call this number or send an email. There you go. My mum's in the chat. My mum said, you were so good. Thank you, mother. My mum is that Sam there, and the moderator. My mum's fantastic. Couldn't have done it without her, in fact. My mum has probably missed about 3 games of football in my entire life. Maybe not even that. She travelled all over the world for me. So, is there anything you are insecure about, Ross? Oh, yes. Good question. I am insecure about my hair being bald, I would say. As much as I don't mind it, like I wear a hat for a reason, don't really want my big bald head out. I am insecure about... What am I insecure about? I was insecure about my teeth. I feel much better about those now. I had Invisalign for a year and I had some composite work to sort of to shape them. So I'm happy with my teeth now. That was something I was very insecure about. Can you think of anything else? Physically, hair would be the only thing, I think. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to be a bit taller, but I'm about a centimetre under 5'10". So I'll say I'm 5'10". It's not short, but I'd like to be taller. What about personality-wise, like mentally? I wouldn't say I'm insecure about stuff, but because I'm anxious. I'm anxious about everything. So that's maybe that. I'd say that's it. The main insecurity would be my hair. I just don't. Obviously, no one wants to be bald. I don't think. Bit smelly. No, I don't think I'm smelly. At least I hope.
He smells really good.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Why don't you get a wig? Because it would just be a bit obvious. Now, imagine me turning up and I've got a full thatch of hair. It's just, yeah. It is what it is. It's not a massive issue for me. You should be insecure about your FPL team. That's funny. Your favourite travel destination? Ooh. I mean, I've not really been to as many places as I would want to. I would say I do like the Greek islands. We're going back to the Greek islands in 3 weeks. Pickle and I finally get a holiday. It's been a little while, but Pickle and I are going to Zante in a few weeks, which is cool. So I do like the Greek islands. I think we went to Kos last year. We're going to Zante. I'd like to go to Crete as well. I do think the Greek islands are lovely. Do not get a wig. My beard went grey. I dyed it and everybody took the mick out of me for weeks. Yeah, I think I've just got to accept it. I'm bald. When I go grey, I'm grey. I'm just going to take it on the chin, you know? I like your head, Ross. Thank you. I think it's difficult to pull off being bald, you know? If you took the hair off some very good-looking men, they would not look as good-looking without their hair. I'm not saying that I'm good-looking by any means, by the way. But you know what I mean? Like, hair, it can make ugly people attractive. So I unfortunately don't have that. But yeah, it's also got some benefits, by the way. For bald men out there, you'll know. Like, you don't have to... When I wake up in the morning, I'm not like, how does my hair look? My hair always looks the same. There isn't much of it, you know? I'm also very lucky that I have a nice beard. I think a lot of bald people don't have a nice beard, and then obviously it looks a little bit more like Humpty Dumpty when you don't have a beard. So I'm lucky that my beard is kind of full, at least. So yeah. Some of the comments are funny. You've got a nice head, to be fair. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lizzie says I was just in Rhodes. Annoyingly, it looks like it might rain when we're in Zante, but the hat just suits you, mate. I really struggle to find another hat that I like. I've got like 15 hats in my wardrobe, but none of them fit as well as this one. But this one is like looking very faded. And annoyingly, every time I wash it, it gets more and more faded. So like you see here, this is just like, obviously it's gross if you don't wash your hat. So every time I wash it, it just gets more faded. So I need to find a replica hat because the shape of a hat matters. Like if I went and got some of my other hats now, they just don't look as good, which is really annoying. So yeah. I also don't really wear my hat this way very often. I don't know why. Obviously on videos it would be weird, but I should wear my hat more like an actual hat. But I don't. Show us your other hats. I could show you my other hats if anyone's interested. I don't feel like people are that interested to see my other hats, though, in all honesty. Get the hats that don't fade. I've had this hat for like 2 years, so 3 years it's going to fade, unfortunately. Soon it will fade and blend with your head. Someone said the other day you should get the hat tattooed on your head. Can you imagine if I actually got it like perfectly tattooed on my head, the hat? The issue is obviously the back wouldn't be there, so it would. I don't know what the back of my head would look like, but that would be pretty funny. Why do you still have a Stev? I just don't need him. If I needed to start him every week, then I'd obviously replace him. You're the regen of Harry Kuehl. In fact, Harry Kuehl was who I played a lot like, actually. I used to love Harry Kuehl back in the day. That's a great shout. In England next week to watch the United-Chelsea game, do you have any recommendations while I'm in Manchester and London? Not massively. Just enjoy being in the cities. You don't need to get Ubers, really. Just get the trains in London, the trams in Manchester. Just experience it all. Maybe go to the Football Museum in Manchester. Obviously, check out Old Trafford, of course. I am interested in your other hats. I want to see your other hats. I can show you my other hats. Oh. Right. Hat number 1. I quite like this one. This is probably my second favourite hat. It's a Von Dutch hat. It's actually more of a greeny colour. It looks kind of brown on here. But you can see, like, it doesn't quite fit the same, chat. Do you get what I mean? Am I overthinking this? Like that, it probably is the closest, but it's more like, I don't know. That just looks weird. I look weird, don't I? Tell me I look weird. That looks weird. Then you've got, I quite like this one. We've got a McLaren hat. Not that I'm actually a fan of McLaren. I just liked the cap, in all honesty. Let me know which one we end up liking as the alternative. This is a bit tight. That might be closer, but it's a lot darker. Also, that's a bit tight around my head. What is that the more fitting? That's still a bit tight. But that's maybe, it just doesn't fit as nice. Doesn't fit as nice. What about beanie hats? I could, but you can't really wear a beanie on a video, can you? It looks a bit weird. Then these sort of hats, that looks terrible, right? I would never wear, I'm sorry, that looks rubbish. I would never wear it like that. These hats I would keep for like that. This Adidas hat is fine, but again, it's got the same sort of, well, that is very green. It doesn't look that green in person. That's not okay. We've got this. This is an Adidas one. That's not as bad. But again, it doesn't look as good, does it? Don't like it. Not a fan. We've then got a Calvin Klein jeans green hat. Don't like this one at all. I ordered this. I think it's the colour. The fit, actually, isn't awful, but it's weird colour. Like, it's too green. We've then got... it's so funny that 2,000 people are just sat here watching me try out my hats. I've just seen Shazam send the super chat. How long ago was that, Shazam? I'm so sorry. A tenner to start the tattoo fund. Thank you so much, mate. I'm sorry I missed that one. That actually isn't bad. If it's a weird... Like, this bit looks weird. Don't know about that. Again, that's probably a hat that just looks better worn as a hat. I've actually got a club hat. Little club hat. Again, probably wouldn't wear this one backwards though. Definitely. Sorry, club. That's probably the worst fitting one. And then this was the one that I originally wore quite a lot. This is the one I've worn the most. This is a Levi's hat, which probably still is I don't know. This semicircle's too small. This actually, I don't know. I tell you what, that probably is the closest. Would you say? For when that hat's done for. I love this hat, by the way, but I wear that more as an actual cap. Yeah, Levi's one for me. Yeah, this one doesn't look as bad. Quite like the writing there, but yeah, this one. Oh, sorry, I smacked the mic. This one as a proper hat is nicer. Like the Adidas, my mum says. What the black one? I actually. This is fun. So I had this handmade. I had an Adidas hat. You're gonna laugh at this with this backing. This backing, right? These were the same hats. But for the Manchester United shoot that I did with the Man United first team, if you didn't see, by the way, I did a shoot with the Man United first team last year. They said that it has to be an Adidas hat that I wear. And I thought I might want to wear a cap, or I might just decide to take my cap off. So I actually went to a shop, cut this off another hat, and they sewed it on. You can kind of see it there, the sewing. So this is a handmade Adidas hat. Whoa, that is not the right way. That I created. But then I ended up just not wearing a hat for the shoot. I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to get my bald head out. Why not? Then, if we return all the way back, this is just the cap. Now, this is the concern and issue that we have. Like, tell me that this cap doesn't look better than the rest. You know? It is. It's just the best hat. It's really annoying. And I can't find a similar cap at all. So what I am left with is all of this, but I don't actually want to wear any of them too often. How about a nice fedora? Potentially. Ever tried a durag? No, I've not. Durag. The hat makers all use the same mold, but they're not quite the same. They fit weird, or this bit is bigger or smaller. Like this, I've never found a cap that is quite, this. Are you bald by choice? No. Well, I mean, I shaved my head by choice, but I wouldn't have much hair if I tried keeping it. I do have beanies. I don't know if they're there, though. I don't have easily accessible beanies because it's not quite cold enough in the UK. Right, I think that's a great place to end it. In all honesty, I don't know what this transpired into, but it transpired into a wardrobe changing session. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Again, apologies for the early team news mishap, but I appreciate all of the love and support from those of you still here. It's been a lovely stream, actually. I very much enjoyed it. I'm going to go absolutely muller some food, and I can't wait. I hope you get a green arrow. I hope you have a fantastic weekend as well. I will be back tomorrow with a transfer plans video, and hopefully Manchester United win. My team gets lots of points, and we're all very happy. What about the club shirt giveaway? I'm going to do that after the stream. Unfortunately, there's no way to do it live on the stream because what I have to do is select a number and give it to someone on the back end to choose. I swear would never, ever, 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 ever fudge a giveaway and pick someone. So it will be completely randomized, I promise, but I can't do it live on the stream as a result. So I'll post it later today, someone at random, that I won't know them. It'll be completely randomized, and yeah, I'll post it on Twitter this afternoon. I'll get the guys at club to give me the name of the club. I'll post a screenshot of the club, and then all I will need, if it's someone here, is the person to prove that it's their club, and then I'll send them an email and we'll get the shirt sent to them. So yeah, make sure to join club, make sure to join my league, and I will catch you soon. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.